GC, you know. Hey, Mike West, they scared of our power. Yeah. Look. I know they scared of my power. I know they scared of our power. They know that we got the juice. Like, ooh, them niggas is a problem. Look at me, huh? Look at me, huh? You ready to kill me? You think that the only way you put an end to me, huh? Nah, silly. GCA, he got the guys with him. GCA, he got the squad with him. And the message gon' live when our bodies finish. Like, oh man, y'all got a problem on y'all hands. What is the revolution? We at war, so my brothers ready. We all in. They lie. Never let them niggas know that we tryna keep them in the hole, keep them low. Never tell them niggas kings and the queens and the gods and the throne. That's a no-no. Cause that's gonna make them feel strong. And we ain't ready for the power that the niggas got together. Like, nah, really nah. I won't say you never saw it coming, but I know you snakes have seen it coming. Ain't it something like who that waking niggas up? Y'all know Farrakhan up for some. Gotta love them, yeah, that's the chief. We the soldiers in the streets, so get acquainted with the team. You all in your feelings, you demons. I know it, cause these are movements you don't have to see. I know that y'all scared of my power. But you hate that, you don't like that, like the hell with my power. And that top spot that you sitting in, yeah, we know that's ours. So we on that, yeah, we want that, yeah, that throne, that's ours. Oh, the power that we sitting on, a power we been sleeping on. Yeah, you knew we had it all along. You know. So that was man, I could be knocking with the chopper. A mega Evers know the king. Give me if I die today, call the doctor. Martin Luther, this the revolution. The Tupacalypse was the doctrine. You probably never hear my words, most likely conspire just to pop it. The power I know that it's God like. Oh, why the good, yeah, that's God right. D to the evil, who y'all like. Really, brother, is it ready for? Baltimore, like the cannon north. The root of ignorant is ignored. Who could justify what we ride for? The same land that we died for. Forget the news, use the eyes more. You the taxidermist, we the animals. We seen it coming, I ain't panic though. Black with time to your cantaloupe. Are you the lion or are you the antelope? I know it's there, I can smell it. With the cops said, now you're yelling. Ain't no guns and drugs in the car, brother. Trying to make it home by 11. I ain't even lying to you. You a rap star, what's a fine to you? Take your chains, what's a shine to you? If I lock you up, what's a mind to you? Everything serving is black skin. Let me ask, what's my mind to you? Cause I ain't hurting nobody. Behind the badge, y'all hiding. And I know that y'all scared of my power. But you hate that, you don't like that, like the hell with my power. And that top spot that you sitting in, yeah, we know that's ours. So we on that, yeah, we won't that, yeah, that throne, that's ours. Oh, the power that we sitting on, a power we been sleeping on. You knew we had it all along, but now we know. So I know y'all plotting on us, know y'all trying to get us social engineering. Keep us divided and keep us distracted, cause y'all know together we seeking vengeance. Who this that talk on y'all sit and listen, y'all won't get the trip, get the cringe. Y'all used to them pussy for niggas, but they ain't no pussy in us. That's the women. We the men they try and break down, make us scared of them, knock our faith down. Make our women disrespect us, cause she know if they can break us, they can break her down. But not this ain't the type of generation, it's that generation that's gonna get it done. We was born for this day and age, silly, we the same joke, that's gonna have to run. It's something about us, I know you notice. Master can't stop us, he can't control us. They say that we rebels and problem children, cause we just won't listen to Uncle Ruckus. Miss me with that shit, we train to go like a militia. We on a mission, move around if you not with it. This business ain't got no hard feelings, you know. I just ain't got no time for pussy cats scared of my vision and think I'm wild. Fearlessness look like insanity to a coward. Yeah, my teacher, he taught me about you. I'm so ready for this venture. I sign up for this, read the description. They say you know you probably die, right? I said put me on the list. I know that y'all scared of my power, but you hate that, you don't like that, like the hell with my power. And that top spot that you sitting in, yeah, we know that's ours. So we on that, yeah, we want that, yeah, that throne, that's ours. Oh, the power that we sitting on, a power we've been sleeping on. You knew we had it all along, but now we know it, so now it's on.
I'm in the booth, bro. Give me 5 minutes. The God Box. Tell them, pump your black fist, 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 pump pump it like this.
These crackers got drones, they flying they saucers. Keep your white Jesus, don't pray to your crosses. They burning our churches, trip past me the Uzi. I know how to work it, I know how to squirt it. No Martin, no Luther, no King. No marching, no choirs, don't sing. The same Christian lovers that rape their grandmothers and hung their grandfathers from trees. They enemies, blood on the leaves, blood on the streets, blood on our feet. I'm sick of walking, sick of dogs getting sick on us. I'm barking, I'm sick of spitting written sentences. Listeners don't get because they got chains on their brains and that ain't no diss. Shout out to Chip.
Pump it like this, pump it like this.
Pump your black fist, pump your black
Pump it like this, pump it like this. Pump it like this, pump it like this.
pump your black fist, pump your black
Pump it like this, pump it like this.
I ain't African, I'm Ethiopian. Put them raw seeds in the fallopian. You can hope I win, I hope I lose. Bitch, long as we made it true, I hope again. I hope I get into heaven. I hope we forgiven. I hope Jesus, as far as I know, look like near the I know. When I see Florida heavens and sevens, I weigh in them sixes. I'm staying religious, cause we stay in the trenches. And got to play with they liches, then came to my senses. I bet them crackers never came through my fences. You burn up your cross and I burn up your corpse. And I turn and bang and do the same to the witness. Hang them and dangle on the street looking up at his feet. So you never forget this, we did this for Martin and Malcolm. Even Mandela, Jimmy Lee Jackson and then Medgar Evers. For Clyde Kennard, hard labor slaving in the yard. For Huey, for Hampton, for Bobby, we got it. For Jordan Davis, we gon' play this. For Sandra Bland, we gon' stand. I'm still out of stomping. For Janaea Thompson from the coast of Compton, it's dope.
Pump it like this, pump it like this.
pump your black fist, pump your black
Pump
fist.
it like this, pump it like this. Pump it like this, pump it like this.
Pump your black fist, pump your black
Pump
fist.
it like this, pump it like this.
What's up? How y'all doing? Ooh, can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me or not. Or two. Anything. You can just say, I hear you. Okay, you can hear me. What's going on, man? It's a funky Friday. How y'all doing today? What's going on this Friday night? Late Friday evening, right at 9 o'clock. What's going on? It's Funky Friday. Once again, fuck Trump, fuck MAGA, but also hold your damn money. I came on here, I want to talk about a few things. I hope I get a couple people in here so we can converse back and forth. Because the one thing, with this election, right now, even one of my homeboys, he was telling me, man, I'll be glad when it's over. He said, I'll be glad when it's over. Of course, he don't want Trump to win, but he said he'll be glad when it's over. And I understand why. This election, I know friends that have stopped talking. I see people, black people. Let me make sure I know what I'm talking about. Black people going out of their way to be contrary to whatever it is black people say and whatever it is black people do. And in that process, on the contrary, with them being contrarians, I hear black people that sound like they are willing to block bullets for Donald Trump. We've had debates on my panel, the other panel. I don't use the word, some people say we're slaves. I don't use that word slave, right? But the way some of these people are acting when you mention Donald Trump, I see why some of them Now, this is mainly me and Forecast, and Forecast is not caping for. So let me put that out there because I don't want nobody to think, oh yeah, they you and Forecast conversation. And I don't want nobody to think I'm trying to take a shot at Forecast because I don't see Forecast caping for Donald Trump. But when they use the word slave, and by the way, peace to everybody that came through to listen to me. But when they use the word slave in the way black people are acting, and I'm gonna let him say it. I'm gonna let him say it for himself, right? It's not me who's saying this. And it's almost as if we're okay with this. Some of us, a lot of us, because it's almost like it's almost like they're
say, you know what I say now? When we have a protester inside, which isn't even very often, I say, be very gentle. Please don't hurt him. We had a case where we had an African-American guy who was a fan of mine. Great fan, great guy. In fact, I want to find out what's going on with him. You know what I'm, look at my African-American over here. Look at him. Are you had an African-American guy who was a fan of mine? Great fan, great guy. In fact, I want to find out what's going on with him. You know what I'm, look at my African-American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest?
So when I hear people caping for him, it's okay for this guy to say, look at my African American. And they defend him wholeheartedly. It's almost like, as I seen memes, the guy, Steven from Django. That's what it's becoming. The way they are in such defense of Donald Trump. It doesn't make a difference how disrespectful he gets with black people. There's still black people that want to cape for him, because I want y'all to remember, he relates to black people because now he's a felon. He has a mugshot. A lady be driving Lyft sometime. And a guy told her the other day, you know Donald Trump is not racist because he made shoes for black people. Excuse me. And in 2024, this is where we are. So as I continue down this bumpy toe road, right? I hear everything that's going on social media. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, name another social media site. And one thing that I hear all of the time is, Kamala Harris, she arrested thousands of black men for nonviolent crimes selling marijuana. Now, I don't use YouTube as a source, but I'm going to use this, but then I'm going to expound on it because I'm going to got an article that I'm going to read. And I'll put
a racist worker at a veteran-owned bar decides to punch a black veteran.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Let me go back. See if I can find this.
No, I said, nigga.
That's not it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to find it. Grandma, which phone did I send it to you from? Okay, I found it. Give me a second. I found it. There was a guy I used to listen to, and what he said sometimes, he said, well-organized lie defeat a disorganized truth all the time. And some of these lies that being spread on down social media is organized.
We're the victim of misinformation in our community.
Come on. This is not me caping for Kamala, but I'm going to tell you this. If I'm living in a country, I don't want a president who's talking about he wants to be a dictator. I don't want a president with everything that happened to us, and I'm going to pull up that NABJ interview as well, where he can't even say he won't give the cop, that murderous cop that murdered Sonia Massey, well, that guy, he can't even say he won't give that guy full immunity. Yeah, melanated God is there. That's the only thing he said that I like, but he's a flat out. But that's something else. I ain't even talking about that because I don't deal with them like that. But anyway, a cop that means a president, if he's president, he won't give, means he can't say the cop that murdered Sonia Massey don't get full immunity. He literally could not answer that question. He could not say, no, he will be. But for some strange reason, there's a lot of black people that have infinity for this guy. They say they're just clowning. See, because it go to, I'm going to be contrary. I'm going to go against, this is black people. This is my opinion. I'm going to go against whatever black people has said. And in that process now, I'm getting so close to Donald Trump where I'm just a damn trumpeter. You got so many black people that's damn near MAGA Potomacans today. It is sad. We want to see one another hurt and suffer as if that is something to be proud of. But I'm going to play this video, then I'm going to get into an article, and I'm going to pin the article, the link to the article. I'm going to put it, I said pin, I don't even know how to do that. I'm just going to put it in the comment section.
We're the victim of misinformation in our community. Kamala Harris, for years, I've been told, hey, she put thousands of black men in jail unjustly for marijuana charges. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. So for years, I didn't like her because of that. Then last night, because I was bored, I sat down and I said, well, how many thousands? 10, 20, 30,000 dudes? So from 2004 to 2010, Kamala Harris was the district attorney for San Francisco. And in that time, she had several convictions for marijuana charges. Her total amount was 1,956 people. And you might say to yourself, that's not that.
Okay, melanated goddess, put in the chat. Tell me what you mean. Who's the other side? Because I'm going to be putting the link in the chat if anybody want to say, have something they want to say. You know, because it's a good discussion.
I know, because even less actually went to jail. The number was 45. So for years, we've been told, hey, she's locking up black men left and right unjustly for weed charges. When in fact, not really. Now, I will say, in 2010, when the bill came up for them to legalize weed, she sat on the sidelines. 2016, she did the same. She didn't come forward and speak publicly about it until 2018. So just to give you a little fact checking, Kamala Harris isn't responsible for locking up thousands of black men for weed. I don't even know where that came from. And I tell you right now, honestly, it came from the internet. Somebody told me, I heard it, I didn't do any research, and I just ran with it. And that's my fault. So hopefully you learn something and you don't do the same. Let's go, Kamala.
I love my kids, but I also love not being broke. So this back to school season, I'm just gonna spend less on them. Amazon has low prices on everything kids need. Like a water bottle, they definitely.
Well, here's the thing. Kamala Harris has already mentioned black people on a few occasions in her first few speeches. The first thing she talked about was how black women is treated in the hospitals and why black women delivering have more babies die than any other race, and that has to change, and she want to do something about it. So neither side, well, you're right, the other side mentioned black people, but when he mentioned black people, you are either the blacks or you are his African American, or he took it a step farther. That article once again comes from Vox, VOX, or he took it a step farther at the RNC and said, look at our African Americans. The blacks, my African American, are our African Americans. Now, I can't say black folk were not mentioned, but he mentioned you in as if he owns you. But it's something when I saw that video, I said, I'm going to look into some things. I was hoping my brother, what's going on, Bwana? I was hoping my brother, Kofi, come through. But since he ain't here, I got another one I'm going to put in as well that comes from NBC. So if you go down and you start reading her record, come and ask a question first. I want a yes or no in the chat. When they say Kamala arrested thousands of black people, which we just saw as 45, and you can really look it up, and that's the number. When they say she arrested thousands of black people for nonviolent crime, marijuana, that means she hurt the black community, right? Yes or no? If anybody want to come, because I want to have a conversation if you want to have a conversation. We're going to be respectful. We ain't going to talk over one another. We ain't going to do none of that. But the lie on one side has been completely organized, right? All of this have not been organized. So, yes or no? That hurt the black community, correct? So I would say yes, that hurt the black community. So what she did was, because we're gonna go through here. Yeah, I can find it. One thing she did, she created a program for first-time offenders of nonviolent felony charges, like marijuana, probably crack, right? They had a job, go to school, and she also, if they had a job, go to school, do community service, but she also had job training for those people. Now, once those people completed the community service and jobs training, their records were expunged. She did convict, like the guy said, 1,956. 45 went to jail. But if she created, you had to do community service and give you job training. So if on one end hurt the black community, on the other end, would that help the black community? I'm just asking because I want to know. Or are we going to just stay stuck? Can we see everything? Or are we going to just stay stuck and talk about how bad this person was while Trump, who has already been president, ain't done nothing? We'll talk about the other side, don't mention it. But Trump has already been president. I want black people to know, ain't no more COVID checks coming out. They ain't sending out no more checks for COVID. That's done. But he also told you could shoot bleach up in you for the COVID. So I just want to know, come on, talk to me. I'll talk back. So if they went to jail, if that hurt the community, wouldn't that also helping the community, giving them job training? So I'm going to explain how it helped because I was hoping somebody talked to me, but y'all don't want to talk. That's all right. Under Kamala in San Francisco, 2010. Repeat offenders under Kamala, there was only 10%. Before she took office, there were a 50% repeat offenders rate. Under her, it was a 10% repeat offenders rate, which means her job training help. I'm asking, because don't nobody want to talk about this. Because if you talk about Trump, because if you say something about Trump, everybody just say, well, you know, the Democrats did this. They never address what you say. They don't even know how to have a real conversation anymore when it comes to this. See, I can have a conversation about both. And I'm not trying to make like nobody perfect. My lips is not stitched to neither one of them ass. Because I believe in hashtag hold your damn money. Hashtag we need to take our damn community. We need to run the economy in our community. We set the social standard in our community. Huh? That is not something they already had, Melanated Goddess. Like I said, I put the link to the article in the chat. That's all I'm saying. So now, the next thing they said, because I'm going to also put the NBC article in there. The next thing they say is, look at all the people she arrested for truancy. Like I said, the link is in the chat. Everything I'm saying, you can read it. I got another one I'm going to put in there too. So when they go to talking about truancy, grade school kids, grade school age kids who have missed multiple, like 30 days in a row, grade school, unexcused, which the parents she went to. None of them, but if you read it, you will see none of them were arrested. She also gave them job training, the parent. So if a grade school child missed 30 days in a row from school, unexcused, I'm just asking because I want to know. Or as Harlem Heat used to say, the wrestler, suckers want to know. That is very good, Melanie, and everybody needs it. But see, what I'm talking about is what she did in Cali, right? And how everybody is just spinning a lie, and they're spinning a lie to be, see, because I'm going to tell you, black folks don't want to fight white folks. They're spinning these lies and being contrary to everything black folks say because we have become the enemy. We have become the enemy. See, I say this to one another. See, this is me. I'm not Republican, nor Democrat, nor red, nor blue, nor liberal, nor conservative. I'm not none of that. What I am is black. And I'm going to do what I feel that black people can benefit, or I can do like everybody else. I can just become worried about myself and say, forget the rest, right? I can say that. Because that's seeing what everybody else has done. We don't even have the decency to listen to one another anymore. Because because now Trump did make us some shoes, and Trump do relate to us because now he got a mug shot and he's a felon. And he understands culture. That's why he make expensive shoes, because he know it. That's the article to the NBC right there. Am I trying to say Kamala is anywhere near perfect? No. But what I am saying, when you got people, this is what I'm going to ask. These people would tell you they're not caping for Trump. But if they're not caping for Trump, why do they only talk about one side? Huh? Why do they only talk about one side? The police did not as you got one on one side want to get the cops full immunity. In the way black people get killed by cops, like, goddamn, there should be enough reason, right? But I ain't telling nobody what to do. You got one side, the cops didn't like one side, that's Kamala. You know why? Like I said, the links are in the chat. I just put them in there. NBC, I put them in there. The name of the article's in there anyway. It was a guy on death row when she took over. Say he killed the police. She's the prosecutor. He was on, not death row, he was in prison life without the possibility of parole. And she was the prosecutor. But she felt, give him a chance to prove his innocence. And she told him they had to. Nobody else would before her. Lo and behold, once they got a chance to get the evidence, his innocence was proved. But the other person there, that brother would have just sat in prison and rotted for something he did not do. Is this me saying Kamala Harris is perfect? No. No, this is not. But this is also debunking some of the other side, my look at my African American. It ain't me who's saying it. It ain't me who talking to you like he own you. And I don't even know how we can accept that and be like, yeah, you know, but with everything we done been through. But I understand why some people would sit up here and say they're a slave. Because they accept the foolishness from somebody telling you you're a slave. Look at my African American. Look at our African American. The black job. The black. Everything out of his mouth is negative about black people. He's been president before. So everybody who say he mentioned, tell me what he did for black people. I'll wait. And if anybody want to come up, I'll put the link in the chat and we can have a real conversation. We can have a real conversation. Because there's two people running in his race. And somebody is going to be president. And if you only talk about one side, like we had this conversation. What, about a week ago? And every time you mention Trump, somebody go always, well, look what Obama did. I got you. But Obama ain't running for president again. Obama ain't running for president again. I have no need to scream at melanated God. No need to scream. I have no need to scream at it. There's no need to get disputations. There's no need. So now you have drunk Joe Brown, my bad, Judge Joe Brown, my bad, drunk Judge Joe Brown. Put all of them together. He's out there talking. Excuse me. He's out here talking. Oh, I ain't know nobody wanted to come in. I said, if you want to come in, you want to come up? I said, if you want to come up, I'll put the link in. There's the link. Yeah, before I continue, I'm gonna give a shout out to Simone Biles for winning the gold medal. And so Simone Biles said, winning gold medal is a black job. So we just having a conversation, melanated, and I'm just like, when you say you want tandem, and somebody tell me their goal is to take care of my women who babies die more than any given birth, more than anybody else in the hospital, with everything. I think she also sent out a tweet and said, I got to go back and check. It's somebody sent out the tweet say it's like Jesse Owens and Hitler. But she said a gold medal is a black job. And a sister from Brazil won the silver. Shout out to South Sudan men's basketball. They lost to USA, but they did beat Puerto Rico. They play Serbia tomorrow. So when somebody say they gonna help my woman, I'm smart enough to know that helping my woman helped me. I'm smart enough to know that. But I also understand that if you are trying to win a race, and in this racist, bigoted country, you're trying to win an election, you can't say you're gonna do this for black people and do that for black people and think you're gonna win. That's political suicide. What's going on, Bwana?
Brother Bakari, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, my man.
Good. So first, before I start talking, let me say, before I get called, before my African American brothers and sisters tell me, Teddy, you need to shut up, you're in the Caribbean. I am only here to support my brother Shaddle. If he asks me any questions about American politics, he asking questions about American politics, I only here to give my opinion. Only here to give my opinion. I don't mean no offense. I watch him from afar. But as far as Kamala Harris is concerned, Brother Bakari, now in terms of politics, we could have whatever politics we want to have. You know, the black Republicans could have their politics, the black Democrats could have their politics. But speaking as a Gaviite, because you are a Gaviite too, Kamala Harris is married to a Jew. She is married to a Jew. So how does that weigh in terms of looking at her as in terms of leadership? So I want you to take off your Democratic hat or whatever hat you are wearing and look at her as a black person and as a Gaviate. Now, I want you to scrutinize her based off of that, because that's the politics you talk.
Scrutinize her, or well, who?
Off of the fact that yes, go ahead.
Who she's married to? I absolutely disagree with that, right? But when you look at the other side, he is white. He is white, and he's married to a white woman, and his children, according to him, is Jewish because they chose Judaism. But her leadership, this is the thing, when they go to talking about her leadership, right? I don't know what her leadership would be like. I said, I'm going to say again, I'm here because all the lies that have been told, and they're only telling lies on one side, which means if you're only talking about one side, you must like the other side. And I'm questioning black people. How can you like someone who speak of you as if they own you? My African American, our African American, someone who has already been president and did nothing for his African Americans. So my thing is, we know what his leadership is like. If you shoot bleach up in you, that'll kill the COVID, but let's just tell him to shoot bleach up in you. The same person who said he's gonna ban protest of something. Once he give cops full immunity, he want to ban protests. And
Crazy. Crazy.
People can't do that. But this is what I want people to remember. When white people was protested in front of the White House when he was president, just across the street, he had the military shoot tear gas on them. Do you think they would have been shooting tear gas on black people? Because one of his generals say he literally asked, could he have the military shoot the Black Lives Matter protesters? And we ignore all of that. So what her leadership would be like, I really don't know. My point is, and once again, people can be Republican, people can be Democrat, people can be what they want to be. I'm black. That's my politics. If it can benefit black people, that's who I ride with. But I don't see a benefit from Donald Trump. But when I hear her say what she want to do for black women, me being a black man who love black women, I know that's a benefit to me. I know that's a benefit to my future with what the hospitals are doing and why so many black babies are dying in these hospitals, and they want to do something about that. That's a benefit for my future because I want my kids to have kids. I got 4 grandkids now. I'm hoping for about 15 more. So I want my kids to have kids. I want to be a great granddad. So if she's doing that, that's benefiting me as well. So did that answer your question?
Yes, but as an American, I understand where you stand because you're talking about the internal politics of America as a black man. And I understand that. My concern is, see, Donald Trump believes African countries are what? Shithole countries. That's what he say, right? So in him thinking that means he can leave these black countries the hell alone because he think that they shithole countries. So he don't really care about these countries. I enjoy that. I want him not to pay attention to the African countries because what Kamala Harris is going to do, I feel she is going to be Barack Obama 2.0, which means that she's going to go to African countries and say LGBT or no aid, no money, no nothing. No nothing. So in looking at that, I'm saying in as far as global black matters, in looking at that, I feel like Trump is better than Kamala. You know what I mean? So I understand from your position where you stand in locally, but internationally, I'm telling you, bro, Trump is better than Kamala.
Hey, Melanated, I'm going to pass it to
So I want to
right after this. Because I was finna go there.
Curry, you mentioned something about. So one, I agree with Brother Bawana, right? But two, you mentioned something, and I know that I came late to the party, so forgive me if you covered this already. You consider Kamala Harris as a black woman?
No, I consider Kamala Harris blending.
As what?
Blending, black and Indian.
Okay, what part of her is black?
Her daddy's side.
But her dad said that he's Irish and Indian.
Judge Joe Brown said his daddy said that. I don't listen.
No, I mean not just before Judge Joe Brown said that. Her father.
Because I read what her
father. I read that her father, and because so the thing about it is, right? I have family members who come from Jamaica who are what they call in Jamaica they will call them coolie, right? Some people say that that's a derogatory term, and other people actually it's kind of like the N-word, right? The N-word, so people use it as a term of endearment, some people use it as a derogatory term, right? The term coolie means that a person has Indian and black ancestry, right?
Yes, that's coolie. Yes.
So that's a coolie, right? So at the bare minimum, Kamala Harris is 25% black. Now I don't know if you would say a person who's 25% black, I'm a black man, I'm a black woman. To me, I wouldn't count that. Just like there's number of black people who have 20%, 23% European ancestry, I don't call them white. I don't think that it's appropriate if her mother is fully non-black, right? So that's 50%, and her father is at best half black, right? Even though he says he's Indian and Irish, I'm gonna go with whatever. Let's say it's a typo, it's an error, whatever, whatever. Let's say he's half black. She's 25% black. That you cannot come out as a black African American woman. That is ridiculous if you're 25% black, 75% something else.
Okay.
Right? That you're not a black person. So she is saying that because a non-black person attended an HBCU, right? She could sing, she could dance, she done learned our culture, right? That is crazy. That's like a white person being raised in the hood. Are they black now? Because they could sing every lyric to whatever, because they know our history, because they know the black national anthem, because they rock cornrows. Are they freaking black? Like, no, she's not a black woman. This is crazy that the black community.
Let me ask you a question, Melanated. We're gonna talk. Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. Yes or no, then I'm gonna ask you another. Does she have to be black?
Yes, if she's on, if I Google her right now, it's going to say she's an African American candidate. Yes, she got to be black to be African American. Yes.
No, I ain't work, because if I go on what
I'm saying, that her popularity, her acceptance in this community is on the basis of her being black. So we can't just change it. No, we cannot just change it. Like, she's running under the ticket as being a black woman.
See, that's not my point.
But she's running under the ticket of being a black woman. She's representing black women. When you speaking about her talking about black women, you was talking about her as a black woman advocating for black women issues, not as a non-black person.
I was talking about her as the presidential candidate that mentioned what she wanted to do for black women. I'm not arguing whether she's black or not. Right, like, do you know, Dr.
For you to minimize that, Brother Bakari, is not genuine, because she is running.
I'm glad you say that's not genuine. So the people that's constantly lying about what she did in caping for Trump, are they genuine? And that's my point here. That's the purpose of this. If I say something, everybody gonna go in on that person, right? Everybody's gonna go in on that person, but they will skip everything.
So when the topic changes to if it's valid or if it's true about her incarcerating black men or whatever, we can comment on that. What I'm saying is that whether they're disingenuous or not about how they want to speak about her policies, I'm speaking about her ethnic background. And her ethnic background is not of African descent. And that is a huge part. Like, if she was not talking about race, if she was not talking about her ethnic background, if she was not going on a Breakfast Club and X, Y, and Z, perpetrating the fraud as a black woman, right? Then it wouldn't be an issue. But she is, Brother Bakari. We can't act like she's not pandering for the black vote, saying I'm part of you.
I'm not saying she's not. She's running.
Okay.
She should pander. But watch this. I'm going to say again what I'm going to believe. I ain't going to believe nobody else. I'm going to believe when you look up her family say her father is Afro-Jamaican. I don't care what nobody else says. What the other people say don't even matter. Joe Brown or anybody else. According to her family, he's Afro-Jamaican. That's who I'm going to ride with. So Bwana said Trump would be better because she going to take LGBTQ to Africa. Got you. I was about to go there, Bwana. That's a great segue. Did you know how long, just if you don't know, just say you don't know, how long have they been working on the Sahel states in Africa? Because I got this article too, in case you don't know.
What you mean working on it? What you mean working on it?
How long they been trying to build the Sahel states in Africa?
Oh, build it? Like a long time. I mean, you mean what?
No, you just answered. You ain't got to keep going. Because you say what Trump gonna do. Trump bombed Somalia, and Trump is the only president that bombed the Sahel states. Would you like that article? Wait a minute, because you said she gonna say something about the LGBTQ. I got you. I'm not homosexual. You feel me? I am not. Not my fight. But I can say this. Trump bomb the Sahel states. So is that good for Africa? I got that article. In case
Bomb, what you mean?
It's absolutely not good for Africa. But can I answer that? But can I answer though? Let me answer. Okay. So the reason why I say Kamala is an extension of Barack Obama is Barack Obama do a whole lot of droning and bombing too. And in fact, he take out Gaddafi.
No, but he ain't running for president.
Let me finish. Let me finish though. Okay. I tell you, Melanated, and I tell you it's gonna go off, and I tell you it's gonna go off, and I tell you it's gonna do that.
But Barack did his 2 terms and can't run no more.
Okay, let's not talk about Barack.
But you acting like they're not on the same team, bro, Kari. That's not. You're not being right. You're not being like. I mean, right now, I'm not a Trumper. I'm not a whatever. I'm about like the LGBT stuff is a very big issue for me. So we want to talk about, you know, policies or values and seeing what side reflects your values. You're talking about the Democratic Party or Kamala Harris in particular advocating for Black women's health, right? But what about when they birth these babies and they go into school? What about when they birth these babies and they're not identified as a mother on their birth certificate because the term mother will soon be extinct? What about when they go into school and they're going to have transgender teachers and they're going to have books about gender neutrality? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of having these babies if we don't even know what the hell a woman is anymore because of this total liberal mindset, just whitewashing all this stuff? Like, we can't just talk about, you know, Black women dying during childbirth, but they give birth to these kids and they're not even mothers. They're women, they're people with the capacity to give birth. That's a term they want to call a mother. Like, this is liberal people stuff. This is what making me distance myself from him. Not because I like Donald Trump or I want to be with somebody that's racist or they don't like Black people, but I don't give a damn if you don't care about me. I want to be able to still be a woman and they not be women if you got a penis. That's what's more important to me. Whether you like my skin color, I could care less because you ain't been liking my skin color. That shit ain't changing in America. But what is changing is the definition of a woman. What is changing is people being able to protect themselves with weapons, like things like that. Like, that's what's changing. What's changing is marijuana being legalized or not. Like, things like that. Like, I don't know. I'm not with the whole. I don't care if he likes me. I really don't, because they never did. So
I got you, and I understand.
I want to, but I have to add to that though.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna give it to you. No, go ahead, add to it. Because I got
yes. Okay. So Kamala Harris, too, she doesn't respect Black people because what does she do? She goes on the Black Breakfast Club and to appeal to Black people, what she do? She say, in college, I smoke marijuana too, to try to associate herself to the Black community. What is smoking marijuana? I don't take drugs, bro. Why do you feel like that should be a talking point to sell to? She would never go to the Asian community and confess to such a thing. Not only that, she lied. She said, I used to listen to Snoop Doggy Dogg in college while I was smoking marijuana. The Chronic Snoopy Doggy Dogg wasn't even out when she was in college. She's really and truly, man. I mean, people could have any politicians that they would like to have, but I'm saying to myself, if you are trying to associate yourself in a leadership position to me, don't sell smoking marijuana as a talking point. It's an insult to a person who don't take drugs.
Mm-hmm. It's an insult to people who do take drugs because she feels that degeneracy is the way to appeal to Black people.
Absolutely.
That is the message.
Absolutely.
Degeneracy. Right, so that's the reason why she had Megan Thee Stallion, because she's like, I need the Black vote, I need some twerking, I need some eyelashes, some eyebrows, some edges, you know, I need big booties, BBLs, I need all of this stuff to get the Black vote. Not talking about jobs, not talking about healthcare, not talking about our families.
She don't talk to her husband. She don't talk to her husband community, the Jewish community, like she talks to the black community.
Wait a minute. Because you said let you get some of that, and I let you get some. Now you talked about she lied about music. Oh, wait. I don't know what year she graduated law school. I don't know any of that. I'm gonna look it up. I know what year the Chronic came out, but let's say she did lie about law school, right? Speaking on women's health, black women's health, and how they're treated, that's something for black people. And once again, like I said, I know people say they're not caping for Trump, but here's the thing. We only talk about one side. And the only reason I'm talking about Kamala like this, because black people is stuck to one side. She did. First, I done debunked the lies about how many people she sent. Y'all don't want to talk about that. I started off debunking those lies with Otto. Don't want to talk about that. You say she's going to be bad for Africa because of the LGBT and the rest of the letter crew, right? So then I show how Trump bombed the Sahel, bombed Somalia, and bombed the Sahel. You go all the way back to Obama. Obama did 2 terms, ain't trying to run no more. It's Kamala and Trump.
So what's the difference if he bombs it and if they bomb it? What's the difference?
Wait a minute, because Kamala ain't bombed nothing. She ain't been president. So for one, there go a difference. Kamala haven't bombed anything. She have not been president. So then we say Kamala say she smoked weed. She pandered to the black community. Why nobody touched on when I said Trump know how to relate to black people? Because wait a minute, no, but why don't you got to wait, my brother? I love you like a fake up, but I ain't good job. Watch this. Trump relate to black people because he's a felon and now he got a mugshot. Trump know black culture and he made expensive shoes for black people. And when he talk to you, you are the blacks, you are my African American or our African American, and you gotta. So when you talk, don't go back to Obama. He did his 2 terms. He ain't running for president. We talking about the 2 that's running right now. And when you're gonna talk about disrespect for black people, you can find everything Kamala has said, but you never say, oh yeah, that's real messed up by Trump for that. Because Trump, is that pandering for black votes? Talking about how he relates to black people because he's a felon and got a mugshot? I'm just asking.
Okay, now I will answer now. I will answer. No, I will answer. So the first thing is you say that Trump bombed them 3 states, right? That is a physical bomb. Kamala sell LGBT ideas to Africa, trying to make it okay. That is an ideological bomb. There's more than one type of warfare, brother. There's a physical warfare and there's an ideological warfare. When you're trying to interfere, let me finish. I interrupt you. When you influencing the minds of people to behave in a certain way, that's ideological warfare. If my nation is a heterosexual community and you tell me to say the only way I can give you any concessions, any monies, any aid, anything is you buy into my ideology that a man is a woman and a woman is a man and both people can marry one another. That's an ideological bomb that you're setting off in my African countries. And you holding an ideological gun to my head to say either you accept this or you don't get this. That's a bomb in itself because you are killing me. Because if I put that into my nation and say it's okay for that to happen, what's gonna happen to my community in the next 30 years? That's a bomb. She's setting off a bomb, but it's just gonna explode in time. That's the only difference. That's all. Let me finish. Now you talk about Trump. Let's talk about Trump because you bring up Trump. Yes, Trump is a devil. I know Trump is a devil, and everybody else know, who even is on the Republican team, know Trump is a devil. To sell tennis shoes to black people, I think he's selling it to everyone. But to sell it to try to promote himself, to sell tennis shoes, to say the blacks go for these kinds of things, that is a racist thing to do. That is racist, extremely racist. To say, oh, in my blacks here, here's my blacks. That for me, that is extremely racist. I think that Trump have a horrible past in terms of his own personal issues, in terms of the things that he's been accused of, rape and all kind of shit like that. Y'all have no real choices, and I don't try to be disrespectful, but y'all have no real choices in terms of leadership in America. If I want to put my mouth in it, y'all have no real choices. But the choices y'all choose, you have to choose what's in your best interest. And I don't know what that is. That's why I listening to y'all guys. I listening to the African Americans. I really would like to know.
Okay, we just had someone else join the panel. What's going on, Eric?
Hey, Bakari. But Bawana said part of what I was gonna say. I think that the problem that people have with Kamala is that she's disingenuous. And she come off as a liar, because I was watching a show that she was doing, and I'm gonna send it to you. She was doing a cooking show, and she said that she was Indian. That's what she said. She didn't say that she was half African American, half Indian. She just said she was straight up Indian. It's just disingenuous. That's the problem that people are having with her, is lying. Like, why not just say what you are? Because when she got elected to the Senate or wherever she was, didn't they say that she was the first Indian whatever? She didn't say that she was African American. Then it's like she bounced from Indian to.
Mm-hmm.
That's disingenuous, and that's what people got the problem with. A lot of folks are not speaking. Black people ain't speaking on Trump because we already know what Trump is.
Mm-hmm.
Erica, let me say this right quick. You say they know what Trump. And by the way, what's up, Omega Courtney? You're gonna have to explain how Trump is in our best interest. But anyway, you say we don't speak on Trump because we know what he is, but he constantly say and do the same disrespectful stuff. Just like Bawana, when I explained the bomb, he started talking about Kamala got an idea bomb. Okay, the idea bomb might kill some people down the road. Or that's an idea that people can reject. People can reject being a homosexual. I'm not homosexual. Wait a minute, let me finish. People can reject homosexuality. Those people in Somalia, okay, so I guess now people can't even reject being homosexual. Those people in Somalia, those people in the Sahel, Bawana, could not reject that damn bomb that he was dropping. So it's not the same thing. So when we can sit here and figure out a way to make it okay for that damn white bigot to kill them black folks in the Sahel and say, but she got an idea, it ain't the white folks no more. That's what I've been trying to get us to understand. We got to look in the mirror and say, what we gonna do? It ain't them. It ain't because you gave him a pass, Bawana. You gave him a pass. And everybody else who only talk about Kamala have given him a pass. Yes, Kamala lied. Who the hell lied more than Donald Trump, though? He gets a pass. And it's like,
what did Kamala lie about?
It's like black people who say they are slaves have found their slave master because they're okay with him saying, look at my African Americans. Look at our African Americans. Look at the black. Ain't no slave. No slave. No slave. It seems like there's a lot of that's okay with it. I'm gonna tell y'all. Ain't no more.
It's an echo, brother.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I don't think that. Go ahead. Brother Bakari, when you speaking, remember to cut all our microphones so it'll take care of the echo. I don't know where Brother Bakari went. Melanated, can you hear me? One, two, one, two, one, two.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'll go and tell Brother Bakari comes by. I think that.
I told y'all could talk. I was coming right back.
Okay, I think that Omega have a very valid point too when she says that there is an immigration issue that many people in the Black community are concerned about, and she is right. She is absolutely right. You can't have people pouring into your country, unfettered, just pouring into your country, being allowed all kind of privileges in America, all kind of situations going on, and it's like no one is speaking to that. That is there's no such thing as black jobs. I know you people gonna bring that up, but you can't have people just pouring into your country, bro. And I feel like the Democratic Party is permitting this. And if Trump's saying to the average black voter, we're gonna stop these people from pouring into your borders to come compete with y'all, because that's an unfair advantage. That is speaking to many people in the African American community, not only in that community, but many other communities that pay their way to be in America. That's a legitimate argument for some people, and Kamala them ain't speaking to that. As a matter of fact, they're inviting illegal immigration into the country. They don't speak to that. I want you to speak to that, Brother Bakari. Now we talk about issues.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said that. By the way, Democrats actually deported more illegal immigrants than Republicans. That is also something.
What about importing, Brother Bakari? What about these Venezuelans? Like, yeah, they might have deported, but what about the immigrants that they have imported, the immigrants that they are giving stipends to, housing to?
It don't come to you. Wait a minute.
Okay.
He asked the question. So what I said was they deported more immigrants than anybody else, right? So here's my thing, right? All of the immigrants that we can talk about, there's really one immigrant that get deported more than anybody, and that's going to be black folks and the shithole countries. Which one tried to put a ban? Which president, he was president, put a ban on people coming from certain countries?
We're not talking about deportation.
Wait a minute.
We're talking about immigration, not deportation.
I got you. So, but the one, he only put a ban. He said Muslim countries. Then he started naming countries from Africa where he didn't want people to come. He didn't say nothing about no damn border. He didn't say nothing about the south of the border. And he didn't say nothing about no damn European. See, we look and we say, oh, look, because you see a lot of Mexicans. I got you. I know. We see a lot of Hispanics. I got you. I know. But we forget about white folks that come in here. Then we also forget about when he put a ban. You can look it up and see what countries he put a ban on. You can look it up and see what countries he put a ban on, saying they can't come here. He didn't want them to come here. You can look that up and see how many African countries that you see in that ban.
Brother Bakari, okay. Yes, you're right. He put a ban. Can we talk about what Buana talked about? Is the ones that are being allowed currently, presently, right? Those who are being allowed to come in, and us taxpaying right now, our taxpaying dollars are being stretched to support and fund them. Right now, we have homeless black people on the streets because we have Venezuelans who are taking occupancy in shelters present day. So when we're thinking about what we're going to vote for, we're thinking about that now. We're thinking about 6 years ago, right? Who was banned 6 years ago? We're talking about right now who are committing crimes, assaulting officers, raping people in the streets. They causing havoc in Chicago, causing havoc in New York City. I'm talking about these present right now, because people are not, or when they're voting, what's going to be more prominent in their memories of what to vote for are going to be issues that are happening now, 2024, right? And I'm saying that what about those people that are these people are getting housing vouchers, stipends to live in, living in shelters, while we have black people, we want to talk about our community, who are homeless, who don't have food to eat, who don't have shelter. Like, that's not cool. And the Democratic Party actually is supporting this, and they are pushing for this, and this because of them that this is happening now.
Okay, I got you. And you say, why I ain't gonna talk about that? I'm not gonna talk about that. The same reason every time I mention something about Trump, we never want to talk about it. So what we're doing is y'all on one side and I'm just on the other side. Not that I care about the other side anymore. I'm mentioning what the other side do, because for some, I'm gonna say it again, for some strange reason, Black people can mention everything that Kamala has ever done or said, but can forget quick the things that Trump say and Trump do. So then they tell me, let's not go back 6 years ago. I would stop going back 6 years ago. People stop going back to Obama. And people stop going back.
So Bakari, him saying his Black people don't bother me. I'm gonna speak for me personally. That don't bother me not one bit, right? Because I work in an elementary school, right? What bothers me is when my principal tells me I can't no longer say boys and girls line up. Can I get a boys line right here? Can I get a girls line right there? What I'm saying is that in the future, potentially, I have to say, friends, can we get online? Students, can we? I have to use gender neutral terms to refer to kids, right?
I got you.
That's what bothers me.
I got you. Now, you know what bothers me? When you go to city council meetings and you go to school board meetings and we don't see the Black parents there to fight none of that, because there's things that we can do. See, I ain't depending on either. I'm not depending on either. That's why the last part of my title is hashtag hold your damn money. But if we're going to talk about president and we're going to talk about who's running, I understand that bother you. I don't agree with that either. That's the thing. I can say what I don't agree with on that side without saying, but look what they did. It seems as if Black people, see, you say you don't have a problem with somebody saying you're their African American. Me, I have a problem with that. I have an absolute problem. Some white boy speaking.
Well, they my crackers. They my crackers. They my crackers.
Okay, I got you. But I have an absolute problem with some bigot, some white bigot speaking of me as if he owned me. I have an absolute problem when some white bigot say he relate to Black people because now he got a mug shot and he's a fella. I have an absolute problem. I have an absolute problem with that. But the people, so when you say why I don't talk, and I'm not going to talk about the other side, because we got 998,000 Black people talking bad about the other side. Somebody got to talk about this damn bigot who's always speaking negative and disrespectful about Black people. But in 2024, Black people have found a way to say it's okay. Go ahead, Omega.
No, hold on, Omega.
Wait a minute.
Okay. Sorry, Omega. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Well, a piece to the chat and the panelists. So I do want to come in and weigh in on a couple of points. Again, thank you again for having this hot topic discussion. I am Courtney Omega Doss, currently residing in Athens, Georgia. I am a formerly elected official. I was the only Republican that sat on a council of 9 in Miami, Florida, as a councilwoman prior to my moving back up to Atlanta at the top of COVID. So I'm going to start off and just give that full disclaimer before I go in and go in on a couple of these points. First and foremost, how Trump feels about Black people personally does not, and I'm going to also give this disclaimer. I'm on one because I've watched Distinguished Gentlemen about 3 times over the weekend. So with Eddie Murphy, if you all have not seen that movie, please do not, you're not doing yourself any favors by not seeing it. It has actually held very well. Eddie Murphy plays a kind of like a con man that gets elected into office, into Congress actually, because of a name. He has a similar name to the person that was the senator that actually died in office. So very good movie. Very
Sister, can you state the title of the movie again?
It's The Distinguished Gentleman. starring Eddie Murphy. It came out in 1992. I do have a YouTube channel. This is not my YouTube channel. I am on my business account. My YouTube channel is Glow Up Life, and it's under Omega Courtney. It's just my name backwards. So again, let me just go in on, I wanted to again lay that out before I forget any of that and go in on a couple of these topics. For one, what Trump thinks about Black people, that does not affect how he is going to move money. And what we can, I believe, agree on is that, because the statistics are there, so whether you want to believe me or not, you can look it up yourself. Conservative communities absolutely do better economically. They absolutely do. Even here in Athens, Georgia, which I will say one of the most surprisingly liberal cities I've ever lived in. It does house the University of Georgia. When there was a murder on the campus, and I do believe personally that this was not a murder or a homicide committed by an illegal immigrant, even though an illegal immigrant was charged with it. Governor Kemp moved the bill within days. He moved legislation within days that now requires any building's rightful access to ask, hey, if it is a person of a Latino background, if they have their green card status. And it's been years since I've heard of that, actually. And this is even coming from Florida. And if they do not have any papers, they are literally set to be deported immediately. So I just wanted to address that point, because I know, Brother Bakari, you mentioned that Democrats deport more. But in this administration alone, and I believe Melanated Goddess is the one who brought up these points, the sister that works at the elementary schools. Kudos to you, sister, for being an educator and working within that system. Because as a former educator, I can tell you that does also concern me greatly, that you're teaching children from an elementary based age that they can quintessentially choose their gender. I will respect that when someone can respectfully, I will respect that when they can respectfully refer to me as a 6'2" white man with 770 credit. You cannot. And I think that it is a slap in the face. I think that it does debunk civil rights. It debunks everything that we foundationally think of when we are considering the challenges that we have had to face on American soil, and to be told that we should champion the cause of others because of what and how they identify, to put them in better or more progressive positions, is something that I personally will not accept. And I refuse to let this be forced down my children's throats as well, that are still, of course, in school. So again, kudos to you, sis Melanated Goddess. This is a point of contention. I believe it is the point of common sense when it comes to our communities, our culture, our diaspora. And maybe I shouldn't say culture, because I do believe in this situation, we have got to not put culture over anything else when it comes to deciding who leads legislation, because how legislation is led on a national level on this presidential ticket will absolutely be some type of effect trickle down to these to our local communities. Now, anyone that knows me and has followed any of my journey politically, career-wise, community advocate, and housing activist-wise, I can tell you personally that usually when there is on the main frame, or the main stage rather, a Republican, our small communities feel that economically better. This is why this cannot be denied. This is not up for discussion. I don't want to fight. I don't want to do a debate all night with it. you cannot deny that these Democratic-led cities and communities, they absolutely have worse roads. They absolutely have an issue with their public utilities. And this is coming from someone who has lived Philadelphia. I worked for city administration under Mayor Street. I've lived in Tempe, Arizona, which of course was, very, very, very heavy Republican area. Of course, held office in Miami, and am from Daytona Beach, Florida. And prior to my grandmother actually winning the seat for mayor of Daytona Beach, Florida, they had never had a Democrat elected to that position. Now, I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, know as well that local elections usually are nonpartisan. So you usually don't have to say, hey, whether you're Republican, whether you're a Democrat, and that sort of thing. But we cannot continue to be blind or continue to be ignorant to this fact that when it is a conservative city, the economics are more in place there. Your businesses are more supported than when you have a Democrat and you have these policies, not legislation, policies. So agreements that, hey, this is how we're going to operate this, but at the same time, they don't put it in legislation so that it lasts past their tenure.
I'm gonna bring it back to you, but wind down so we can pass it because we got other people waiting.
Okay, so that's basically that. Those are my points, that we cannot deny that conservative communities fare better economically. We cannot deny that the agenda of letting people play these identity politics is damaging, and we can also not deny that the migrant situation is absolutely going to destroy what little stronghold a lot of our Black and brown communities do have, period.
Okay, but Wanda, you wanted to speak because she said a lot that I'm going to touch on a couple of that, but I'm going to go ahead and let you speak because I don't care what city it is. Can't nobody show me what Black people doing, how Black people is thriving in a conservative city. Either one person only concerned about the little money they make. But go ahead, Bawanda.
Well, I love how the Black Queens, your Black Queens, came on tonight and destroyed you completely, Brother Bakari. Consider the fact that the Black woman is God. They are guarding you tonight.
I go ahead.
But let me say this. When Omega says that the Republicans are in power, they seem to fare better. Now, in some instances, I understand that because you see a city like a state like Texas. You see that state is a thriving economy. You see them doing very, very well in terms of the economy, and you see their citizens thriving. But when you take it to California, and you see that is a liberal state, but no one can ignore Skid Row, California. No one can ignore the growing numbers of the homeless population that exists in that state. And it seems like that state is being run, even though it has a very large economy, it seems like it's being run very poorly. So you have to ask the question, what is the difference? But I would also say this, in all fairness to my sister Omega, you also have to look at places like Mississippi, which is also a Republican stronghold, and Alabama, which is another Republican stronghold. These are poorer states. So what's the difference? So if I really try to be fair, I can't look at only Texas alone and ignore Alabama and Mississippi, which are also Republican-run states. But I wanted to really to be fair to Brother Bakari as well. Donald Trump has made racist statements and done racist things. From when he talked about when he did the thing with the black tenants and he kicked the black tenants out of his place. This is in 1973. When he did the thing with the Central Park Five, and he said that the Central Park Five, the boys should be hung in New York City. That's no good. when he did the thing after September 11, and he talked in terms of the Muslims, you know, and he kind of like did a whole thing on all Muslims, criminalizing all Muslims. That was absolutely wrong. When he talked about Obama and the birther thing, so they said that Obama ain't from the United States, he's from Kenya. That was very racist. He should, when he talk about the migrants are coming from Mexico and all of them are criminals and rapists. You, as a leader, you can't make them kind of statements. When you talk about Haiti and Africa being shithole countries, and some people may say, well, yeah, the countries are governed poorly. The countries are not run very well. But Haiti is a beautiful country. It's just the people there don't understand how to govern the country well. And there's other history to it and context to it. Never mind, America has invaded Haiti on several occasions and created their own constitution inside of Haiti. Never mind what the American government has done in African countries. You take out all of the context and just call the countries shithole countries without saying what you had to do with creating the shithole countries in the first place. But I just want to leave it there because you say we ain't talking about Trump. These are the things that I wanted to mention about Trump just to have a balance in the conversation.
Okay, so now this is what I'm going to say. When somebody say you look at a conservative city or conservative state, they do better. There's one black person concerned about themselves and not concerned about other black people because it don't make a difference where you go in this country. We know black people economics. And I'm just going to be honest with you. We know black people. We know our financial situation don't care where we go. See, I'm not just concerned about me. Maybe I should be, because everybody who's talking about Trump, right? So, but one, I'm gonna touch you on something, right? You said Texas, how well it's run. Homeless rate grew in Texas by 12%. I just want you to know that much, because it's a conservative-run state, right? You can come to Atlanta, come to Georgia, a conservative-run state, and see homeless standing on the interstate begging for money. Most of them gonna be black, don't care where you go. So when we got this idea that a conservative is just gonna make things better for you, that is not the truth. And I understand, Devon Dawes, you're gonna take up for your wife. You say she said black people. Well, I'm concerned about black people. I'm not concerned about a conservative community. So if we discussing black people, then you discuss a conservative community. You are concerned about white people and yourself making money. You're not concerned about the well-being of black people. So now when we talk about how tough, because see, I'm gangster with this. I just don't like to debate. So when you talk about how tough Republicans are on immigration, why was it the Republicans that dumped the immigration bill? You can look that up too. It just happened. It was the Republican that turned their back on the immigration bill. See, what we do is we don't do research. We listen to people talk. That's why I started, and nobody touched on the points, because I'm going to get back to my topic. Nobody touched on the points about the lies that was told by Kamala, the things that she did. And when I asked the question, if putting black people, according to thousands of black people, which is a lie, but anyway, thousands of black people in jail for non-violent marijuana offenses hurt the black community. I asked the question. So creating programs in California, helping these people get their record expunged, and only having going from 50% repeat offenders rate to a 10% repeat offenders rate. Did that help black people then? But you know what we do? We get out here and do a walk in a square dance. Ain't gonna answer the question. We gonna dance around it, all kind of dances. Any kind of dance. We gonna break dance and start talking about other things. So, but even with those other things, I'm well equipped. So the point that I'm making, when we say these things, why nobody addressed the fact when I touched on, so if Kamala is a liar, proving she is, we most definitely know Trump is a liar. So who's pushing the lie against just one side on social media? It's black people that's only talking about one side. And to say, I don't care how somebody feel about me, tell you openly, you're his African-American, you his boy, you his girl, whatever. And that person, that same person, want to give the police full immunity. I wonder who get killed more by the police. The same person gonna ban protest. I wonder which people protest the most and why they're protesting the most. The same person that have in every state, since we talking about conservative states again, I told you I'm good with this. The same states that have banned DEI. I wonder how many black people lost jobs in those areas. See, we can get up here and we can talk and feel good. See, I went in on Kamala the same way. I don't went in on Joe Biden the exact same way. But now, since black people only see one side and we scared to say something about that fucking bigot who can sit there and say whatever they want to say about black folks, then we just focus on Kamala. It doesn't make a difference. What he say, we figure out a way to give it a pass. Okay, his African Americans. I understand why some black people now will sit on here and feel they're a slave. We got a lot of Stevens from Django who's proud, who's willing to block bullets for their slave master, Donald Trump. We got a lot of Stevens from Django's who accept the fact that we relate because he's a fella now. We relate.
I want to speak when you're done, Dr. Bakari.
He relate because he understands culture and he can make expensive shoes. And we accept that like it's nothing. Then we ignore Project 2025. Go ahead, Melanie.
Okay, so I want to say, like, one, I want to say peace to the sister. I was definitely in agreement with a lot of what you said, and listening to Brother Bakari, I'm not a Stephen from Django. It is taking a lot of effort for me.
But don't take none of that personal when I say that.
No, I got you.
Don't take none.
I'm saying it's taking a lot of effort for me not to focus on whether or not Donald Trump is racist, whether or not Donald Trump actually likes black people. I am trying to put that to the side because, we have to remember that we are in these United States of America, right? We were brought here as kidnapped victims. Our ancestors had opportunities to leave. They chose to stay. They made this their home. However, these European people remind us of us being second-class citizens or visitors or the minority, like all of this stuff, right? So I am not going to, I'm trying not to pay attention to white peopling. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They don't have to like us, right? So therefore, I am focusing on, like she said, the policies. I'm focusing on how these policies impact my regular life. Donald Trump promoting sneakers does not impact me at all, right? He presents himself as a white European man, and he is a white European man. This other candidate presents herself as different ethnic groups, depending on the audience and the people that she's speaking to. To me, that just your identity. If you're not grounded and fixed in your identity, that's a concern to me, right? Especially when you are switching it to appeal to me, but then when you're not in my presence, then you switch it again, you switch it off. That is a huge concern for me, may not be for you, right? But based off of her lineage, her father is like, I looked at it, I wanted to see what this man looked like. He looks like a non-black, he looks like an Indian person, a person from India. If you look at him, he does not look phenotypically like a black man, right? He definitely doesn't look like a person who has two black parents, right? You can just count that. He does not look like he has two black parents. Her mother doesn't have two black parents. So if anything, she has 1 out of 4 black grandparents. But I don't think but if anyone wants to go with the best case scenario, she has 1 out of 4 black grandparents. We can't call that a black person. And she knows this is her life. So why would she perpetrate the fraud and pretend to be black? People should be concerned by that. and then so immigration, like those are going to be big issues for a lot of voters. And when you have one person saying, I'm going to address immigration, I want to crack down on that, and then but they may say some mean things, or they may say some, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm not trying to minimize him saying that he may want to stop protests. I do think that he may say that he wants to stop protests, just like he told people to do the bleach to stop COVID, but that didn't really go anywhere. So we understand that Donald Trump sometimes says things and he just says it, but it doesn't really go anywhere. I don't think that the same way there's lots of the majority of the Europeans who want to have their protests, who want to have their militia groups, who want to have these public protests, that's not really going to fly. I don't believe that that's going to actually pass nationally in our country. So I'm not threatened. I don't know. I don't see the threat. Maybe you know more than me, Bakari, on that issue, and it might be something that I could look into it. I want to be open to more information. So that could be something I could look into. But I am saying that for us to ignore these other pressing issues, like I think this is going to, at the end of the day, for American voters, this is going to come down to what we actually value, right? And for some people, they're going to value family. Some people are going to value our international foreign policy. Some people are going to value their gender rights. Some people are going to value, and this is literally how people are going to vote. And we just need to be aware of it and understand for ourselves what's driving where we line in this political thing. But for everyone else, Bakari, like someone being a bigot, she's a phony. So you're gonna pick a phony or a bigot? Which one? Someone who's like, yo, I'm white and I'm right, or someone who's like, hey, I'm brown and I'm down. I'm kind of with you, and I like which one you want, right? Like for me, I don't. Because I'm black. I don't want nobody pretending to be black. So to me, that's very, very offensive. It is, and it's enough for me to look at her side eye. At least I'm not saying I made up my mind, but I am definitely looking, and I need to see something more than Megan Thee Stallion and saying I'm a AKA or some bull crap. That don't mean crap to me.
What about Amber Rose?
What about her?
We only talk about one side.
She's not running for president.
We only focus on one side.
Wait, Amber Rose, the chick with the short hair. What about her? What she got to do with this conversation?
She spoke at the Republican National Convention. She did.
She's not running for president.
What did she say?
Why is it nigga isn't? But the point that I'm making.
What did she spoke? Okay, she spoke. What did she twerk her ass? Did she twerk her ass?
Y'all use Megan Thee Stallion.
Did she twerk her ass, Brother Bakari?
Amber Rose, the most expensive hoe who ain't never done that.
No, I'm asking you, did she twerk her ass? Because what about Beyonce? She's surfboarding on some dick, but she on the Democratic Party. I'm just trying to say, like, literally, I'm asking you, when she spoke, was she fully clothed? Was she twerking and busting it wide open for the American people to see?
I don't know what she had, but America.
I think.
Around naked. But the point that I'm making is, we only focus on one side. That's what I mean when I say we gonna find, because we're being contrarian to other black people because they don't.
No, but Bakari, wasn't Jay-Z a reformed? Isn't Jay-Z a reformed drug dealer? Isn't Beyonce surfboarding on penis in the? She making songs and talking about sexual stuff.
Beyonce surfboarding on, and the point. See that the thing about me, like I don't know what Beyonce is surfboarding on, right? Point that I'm making, and once again, I'm gonna still go back to the topic that the points that nobody wants to touch on at all, when I talk about the lies that black people have spread over social media. And like I said, I don't went in on Kamala like that. So I apologize, because I spread some of them lies, so I apologize. I'm glad I took them video down. Didn't even have to say nothing. The point that I'm making, well, they had Meg Thee Stallion do this. You know what? Kamala gonna get the young vote. Young folks love Meg Thee Stallion. Them young folks don't know who Amber Rose is. They don't know. They do not know. So we can say what we want. You say she's pandering. You're supposed to pander. You're a politician and you're trying to win. We might not agree with the way she pandered or they pandered. Black people have the right to be upset with the Democratic Party. I'm not saying that either. But to sit and ignore Trump, and I know Melanie the guy to say she's not ignoring Trump, but we can say we can focus on her lying like she's black, even though what I read in her family say her father is Afro-Jamaican. I don't care what the other folks said. I'm just going by her family, what they said. When you look them up, what they say, right? That's the. So we can sense, well, you know, we can focus on that, but don't focus on somebody who's trying to be president that absolutely always show his disdain for black people. And for some, so if this man have all this disdain for black people, what do you think he's gonna happen if he become, because he been president before. And the only thing we got was COVID checks. Go ahead, Courtney.
No, okay. Okay, so go ahead, Courtney. Okay, so while we wait for Courtney, I just want to say that there is an elephant.
I just was saying that Amber Rose.
Somebody got a mute.
Yeah, she did not twerk at the Republican National Convention. She spoke. That is a big difference from singing lyrics to Body Yachty and who was that got on that stage? Quavo, talking about how Kamala stands on business. And I just want to further reiterate that I don't mind having the hard discussions, Brother Bakari. I'm not one to run from them, but we are going to, like you said, you're not going to say that we do not do our research. And I know exceptions don't change standards, but I do. And you're not, like I said, you're not going to tell me that there are too many Republican-led communities. I'm talking about on their administrative and their boards that are in the type of physical dilapidation of buildings and physical disarray that we have with the Democratic-led, and this is local. So that was just my point. But I'm interested in doing the research. Like I said, I'm not one for just doing the debating back and forth, but I am one for doing the research and saying, okay, let's make some calculated choices here. But I also am coming from a position of perspective that I've seen from the inside. And I've also seen from the inside how Democrats don't, no matter what the color, they work very well together to make sure that other parties, no matter what the color, are not supported. That's a problem. And I also do think that with the Democratic Party being so led by baby boomer initiatives, if you will, that also is not very supportive. So I can see why the Democrats are going for the young vote, but they're going only for the young vote. They clearly do not want young people involved in any type of real legislative making. So,
Courtney, can you just elaborate on that?
Go back into it. Thank you.
Well, Courtney, can you elaborate on I didn't want to stop you while you were saying it, but you were saying that the Democratic Party, I wanted you to repeat what you just said, but elaborate a little bit more. Like, because it's kind of fuzzy. You're saying that you were hinting, it sounded like you were hinting that they wanted certain people to do something, but then, and I was like, what is she talking about? Like, because I'm not that aware. I'm not that clued in. So if you are aware of something, and I'm maybe speaking for someone else who's listening, who's not as clued in, what is it that what information or what research have you done that you come across that you can share with um with the rest of us as far as uh, are you understanding what I'm saying? Like, what were you? Can you just kind of reiterate a little bit more in depth of what you were just saying, as far as like the intentions of the Democratic Party? My question was to you, Courtney.
When she comes and she answers. But once again, like I said,
Okay.
right, we can hold on to a conservative community. I'm talking, and this is another thing, right? The people on the panel, melanated number one, I guess, because they say they pro-black, but they ride with people talking about the conservative community. The conservative
Because black
community
people are conservative. Black people are conservative, Bakari.
See, in the matter, and I'm going to say it again. Show me where black people in conservative run cities and states talking about they part of the conservative community and they are doing so well financially.
No, that's not what I'm saying. See, I'm glad you said it in that way. What I'm saying is that black people support and endorse outside of things that are like racial, right? Black people support, or actually, if you ask them, do they endorse conservative values and principles? They will say yes.
I got you, melanated. But watch this. That's not what Omega Courtney said, and that's not what y'all was agreeing with. And that's what I'm saying. That's why every time
What? Of course it is. Of course it is.
That's not what she said. She even put it in the chat. Conservative communities do better economically. That's what she was talking about.
Conservative communities, meaning communities that has certain values. That's how I interpret it. I don't know what you interpreting, but communities that like, yes.
Okay, I got you. I ain't doing no interpretation. I'm just going on what was said. Conservative communities. Wait a minute, melanated. I'm gonna let you know when you can come back. Conservative communities do better economically. That's not for interpretation. That is a statement that was made saying conservative communities. So what is a conservative community? And how many black people? And when you do them, and you know what black people do when they see somebody or part of a so-called conservative community? Who's the black guy? Tim Scott, what his name? You know what black people do? Talk bad about him. But because it's someone on the panel going against, okay, a Democrat, and I understand why black people's upset with Democrats. Trust me, I've been a part of this. I've been doing this shit my whole damn life. Ain't had choice. So two things I was learned from the time I was a little boy. Don't trust a politician. Don't trust a preacher. Make them earn your trust. So when we sit here and say, Candace Owens would be a part of those are the type of black people that's part of the conservative community. Candace Owens. Brandon from Pan-Africanism Strikes Back. Listen to how these people, Tim Scott, the guy who was the sheriff in the black guy, what's his name, Forecast? I know you know it. Listen to how the people of the conservative community, black people of that conservative community, talk about other black people. But once again, when I talked about the topic, nobody ain't touched on that topic, still and danced around it.
I want to touch on the topic.
Wait a minute, Bwan. Wait a minute. Wait, because we done talked a long time. I know y'all scared of it. So, but there's another. So then when y'all say they are tougher on immigrants, would y'all like me to put the link in the chat? Well, it was the Republicans that fought the bill that Democrats wrote. It was the Republicans that dumped the immigrant bill. Would y'all need that link as well? So we say things without looking things up. That's all I'm saying about us as when we have to do better. And when it comes to this, I understand why black people is against Democrats. I understand why black people is upset with Democrats. I understand black people saying, I am so sorry.
There is a little delay, and so I hope I'm not interrupting a couple of things. But yes, I mean conservative communities do better economically, and I mean
hold up. What I'm So, but what? Because lost my train of thought when it came in. So when we talk about the conservative, see now they've got me going back to the conservative community. But whatever it was, because she cut me off and I lost my train of thought. But anyway,
come back to it. Yeah, come back to it. Yeah. So I would say this. I wanted to address something specifically which you say that we ignoring. The bigotry of the president and the bigoted statements that he would have made. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last 44 presidents have been bigots. And all that made 44 presidents made bigoted statements. Every last one of them has made bigoted statements. Let me finish.
No, but stay on the point. We go all the way back to everybody.
No, but I come into a point. The reason, because I come into a point and why I'm saying that. If you live in America, you have to adjust to American ideas and values. One of the things is there's a lot of bigotry in America. If you are offended by what someone says in a leadership position who's bigoted, you wouldn't go to work every day because your boss bigoted. You know what I mean? You have to make adjustments because you have to live within a society that is consumed with anti-Black isms. But even though they have anti-Black isms, you have to still live within that community. And it seems like the African Americans have been able to make adjustments, because it's like I say, all of the 44 presidents have been bigoted. Matter of fact, Abraham Lincoln, who freed the slaves, made bigoted statements. So it seems like the African American community has been able to move past surface level things and have tried to get the best interest of what they could get from the so-called leaders in their communities, whether they bigots or not. Because you can't get past the bigotry and the racism and the racist ideas that many of these presidents, bosses, heads of state, judges and lawyers have in their minds and their head. You can't get past that. You have to.
Okay, I'm trying to be nice. But what
I finished though. Let me finish.
No. I'm gonna cut you off. I'm trying to be nice.
All right.
Abraham Lincoln. I'm talking about something that somebody said last week. You go all the way, and that's what I'm talking about.
It's all connected.
Act like y'all.
No, Buwana, be honest, because I told him not to go back in the digging in the crate. So he's right. He's right by you saying not bringing up Abraham Lincoln. I mean, I honestly said that yes, Donald Trump is a bigot. I personally am not bothered by him saying my Black people, my X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? If Donald Trump can protect my interest as a woman,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right?
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
That is more important to me than if he thinks I am his Black woman. I don't care about that.
I got you. But it's a lot of the person who has said something about protecting Black women is being ished on by Black women.
No, she didn't. Listen. She didn't say she's protecting us.
Wait a minute. Goddamn. So if she talking about Black women, how the babies see, this is the thing. See, this is something I already know people know. But something, I'm being honest, man. I think the person who said the way Black babies are dying in the hospital, and we gonna do something about that. The person that said the way Black people is making 61 cents on the dollar and everyone else is, we gonna do policies about that. That's the person that Black people is ishing on and got a problem with. But we don't have a problem with the person who called you his slave. We don't have a problem with the person that relate to you because of we don't have a problem, but I can say, and that's what I'm talking about, Buwana. You went back to Abraham Lincoln. So everything you said, I erased. It don't even matter. Because I talked about Trump, Kamala. And
Kamala is pro-abortion. She's pro-abortion.
I got you. I ain't caping for either. One of them love the cops. One of them the cops love, who want to give the cops full immunity. The other one, the cops hate. Which one do you? We know who it is. And I explained already, but y'all can look it up. I don't put articles in the chat. Y'all can look it up and see why they have a problem with her, the cops. Then you can look up.
Let me.
Wait a minute, Melanated. Then you can also look up and see why progressives didn't like her. Because when people, guess which one of them said the crime bills was too tough and it hurt a certain demographic of people. Guess which one of them said that? But because you so mad with what Democrats and how they have treated black people, we can't see. I ain't gonna say can't see it in here. We scared to speak on Trump. And that is the craziest damn thing in the world. We done went back. The other night, people was going back to Obama and Lyndon B. Johnson. But one of them went all the way back to Abraham Lincoln.
But Bakari, you're not listening. You're not listening. But Bakari, you're not listening. You're not listening. You're not listening, though. You're not listening. No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Because what?
No, you're not. The black people.
Wait a minute. Because what I did was I spoke on the lies that had been told all over social media. Then I went through and read what this woman has done. And y'all, something is so wrong. Y'all will say her putting black people in jail for nonviolent marijuana offenses hurt the black community. But y'all so stuck on, y'all can't even say, yeah, creating those programs did help black people. Damn, she only had a 10%.
No, listen.
No, he listening. He is on the right. He's on the right now.
No. Having a 10% repeat offenders rate wouldn't good. We can't say none of that. Well, she said okay, let's say, I'm gonna ride with y'all and say she lied about being black, even though I know what I read. She lied about that. Donald Trump been president before. I'm gonna ask again, what did you get? So then when I read her record, nobody want to talk about that. We done talked about a conservative community. We done went back to Abraham Lincoln. We done talked about, I don't care. And I'm going to say it again. I'm talking about this side, but for some strange reason, Donald Trump has found his slaves who's scared to say something about it. Now, I do stand on that, and I ain't saying it to insult anyone, but won't nobody even say nothing about this damn dude. Me and Kofi. That's it.
Because he is speaking, Brother Bakari, he is speaking to the black people them interests. The black people them are concerned about what? The black people concerned about immigration. That's an issue for black people in America currently. Let me finish. I let you talk, man. The black people are the black people are also concerned in terms of, you talk about families. Abortion is a big thing in the black community. They want their families. The black little girl on the street who's 13 and pregnant, she's have the child. She ain't into having Planned Parenthood all up and down her community. These things are important to many black people outside of you saying this man making comments. They are concerned about certain things that you are ignoring. That's the problem. You are ignoring it. You are ignoring it.
Can I ask a question?
They blocked the immigration bill. Want me to put the link in the chat so you can read it? Because you ignored that. I said it 1,400 times. They are the ones that blocked the immigration bill. Was the Republican and conservative. Now, if you ain't, the next time anybody mention immigration and don't mention that, I'm gonna mute you for good. I love you like a Laker, because that's what I'm talking about, how we conveniently ignore certain things. We got to come together regardless. We got to build ourselves up regardless. We got to take care of us. These folks ain't gonna give us no reparation. These folks ain't gonna do none of that. But I do know if somebody speak on saving black babies in the hospital, they are taking care of me because they're taking care of my woman. I do know when they talk about how we make less money than other people and something have to be done about that. Then the other person ain't ever got to say nothing because regardless of what one say, we just go, well, but what about this? And we ignore all of that. So if you mention the immigration bill and don't want to look up what the Republicans block, if you mention immigration and don't want to look up what the conservatives block the immigration bill that was created, something is just wrong. And that's it's stuff. Go ahead, suspect zero.
I've been listening to this for a while, and I just have a question listening to my brothers and my sisters on Bakari's channel. I'm having a hard time understanding why anybody from our diaspora would ever support somebody whose family was directly connected to the KKK over a woman that's, regardless of what color she is, but half black. I just don't understand how you can justify literally a slave master over one of us that may not be perfect, that may not be right, but at least opens the door to a future for more progress. I don't understand that breakdown in our community.
Bakari, that question is for me. Can I answer that?
Well, it's to anybody, but yes, you can.
Oh, sure. So first of all, if we want to talk about this man's ancestry and the fact that his granddaddy was associated with the KKK, well, Kamala Harris is an Indian.
Arrested. He was arrested.
No problem.
He was arrested at a KKK rally where people were murdered.
Wonderful. But let me say this.
Is it wonderful? Is it wonderful? Is it great?
You asked the question. Let me answer your question.
I didn't ask. Okay.
So Kamala Harris is an Indian. The Indians don't like black people.
She's a biracial.
No.
She's not an Indian. She's biracial.
But she's not black, though. None of the races are black. None of the races are black.
She's black in America.
No problem. But I'm saying
she's not black in America.
No, she's not. Says who?
She's not. So she went to HBCU and played the oldest black sorority, had a black father, and she's not black in America.
Everyone
is British. And I went to an HBCU as well. I'm a graduate from Florida A&M University, and I can.
Go ahead, Bawana. I ain't mean to mute people, but Bawana was answering.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sorry, sister. Just give me 1 minute, and I'll be very quick. So, the Indians. By the way, there are YouTube videos where Kamala used to go on summers to India, and her referring to herself as an Indian woman. I understand that two things could be true at the same time. So she can identify as an Indian woman and a black woman. I have no problem with that. But I'm saying that the Indians were just as evil towards black people as the KKK. In fact, some of them they were worse towards black people in India as the KKK was in America. So if you're going to indict the KKK, you must indict the Indians as well. Because they really don't like black people, if you're really concerned about that. Also, Kamala Harris is married to a Jewish person. I don't need to get into the relationship between the black community and the Jewish community, because we all know what that is. So I'm talking about, if you want to talk about association and indicting people based on their relationships, you can't ignore who Kamala Harris is having relationships with. And not only that, who is she is in family too. And their racism as well. So I want to just be clear on the history.
Okay, so can I make a comment? Can I make a comment? Is that worse than a known slave master in America?
Yeah. Oh yeah, can I interject about the slave master situation? Because while everyone was talking, I took the liberty of looking up her father's Wikipedia, right? And I just wanted to read. I wanted to read from her father's Wikipedia. Harris's parental grandmother born Christina Brown.
That doesn't sound like her. Wait a minute.
Excuse
That
me,
doesn't
excuse me,
sound like
excuse
her
me, excuse me,
father. How
excuse
do
me.
you
Why
start
are
out
we
her
interjecting?
father's
Her father,
Wikipedia page with her
hold on.
grandmother?
Why are we cutting me off? Like, why can't we? I gave you. I
I'm
listened to
sorry.
you, sister. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the respect that I gave you. Let me just continue to read. Right. Harris's paternal grandmother, born Christina Brown, told Harris that she was descended from an Irish-born plantation owner, Hamilton Brown, who founded the local Anglican church where she was buried. So that she has slave owner ancestry as well. That's how that's sounding, because when he speaks about his ancestry, he says he is part Irish and Indian, not African, not Angolan, not Yoruban, not from the transatlantic slave trade, not a descendant of slavery, not a descendant, not an African, but his ancestry is denoted as being Irish and Indian, right? And if you know anything about Jamaican population, right? Like I mentioned earlier in the show, he appears to have what they would call in Jamaica. If you were in Jamaica, they would call he's Coolie. So Coolie is when you have Indian and other ancestry. So your phenotype is somewhat of a mixed, right? So when we say that he's mixed, he is mixed. But is he mixed with black? And he is himself is saying no. Other people are saying that he is Afro because he's brown. And he's brown and he's in Jamaica. So if you're brown and in Jamaica, people are going to associate that you are black. But essentially, when you do more further deep digging, it's not actually African ancestry why he's brown, because people are brown in India, right? So like I'm not saying that he's a bad person because he's not of African ancestry. I'm not saying she's a bad person and she's not of African ancestry. I'm saying it's not fair to pretend that you have African ancestry, that your heritage and your lineage experience anything close to what African Americans or Afro Caribbean people experience via the transatlantic slave trade. That, to me, is disrespectful. Be proud to be Indian. Be proud to be of Indian heritage. Be proud to be of Irish and Indian heritage or whatever it is. But stop trying to false flag and claim what is our unique history via the transatlantic slave trade, because that is disrespectful. That's what I'm
So
saying.
why do you suppose she went to a HBCU? Why do you think she made that decision?
There's lots of non-black people
No,
that
I'm
go to
asking you,
HBCUs.
why do you think
Because
she
the
would make
non-black
that decision as
because
an
you're
Indian
because you're
woman
not
to go to an HBCU?
because you're now a minority, because you're a minority, which is why lots of African Americans go to white predominantly white PWIs. White, yeah.
And
Okay.
can
So
I
you
also
see a lot of Indians at Clark and Morehouse. You see a lot of Indians from the
Can I
Middle
share
East at
something?
Clark and Morehouse.
Can I
Do
share
you
something?
know
Yeah,
that?
you do.
Can
They
I
get
share something?
scholarships.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes.
I'm a
I'm
Florida.
answering you.
I'm a
I'm
Florida.
answering your question.
Zero and melanated. Wait 1 second. I'm gonna let it come back to y'all. We gonna let Omega speak, but I would say this: back then, only black. In all honesty, in the '80s, only black people was going to HBCUs. If you deal with HBCUs at all, only black people was truly selecting HBCUs back then. And I'm not saying she's black. I'm just going because you deal with them at all. But go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to share that I am a Florida A&M University graduate, FAMU in Tallahassee, Florida, and a Florida State, actually double degreed. And there were plenty, and you can say in the 80s that there weren't. This was definitely before, I went to FAMU, but my sister Kim, she preceded me by 9 years at FAMU, and I can distinctly remember, and my sister Wanda also went to Clark University. Now, I didn't see them as much at Clark, But at FAMU, my sister preceded me by 9 years and was also an AKA. And my brother preceded me by 6 years at FAMU. He did not pledge, but I can tell you at both of those times when we did go to campus, before I even went to FAMU, yes, in fact, there were white, there were Indian, there were not many Asian when my sister and my brother were there. But by the time I came, there were actually Asians that were also on the campus as well. And as a matter of fact, I had an internship at the Tallahassee Democrat with one Asian friend in particular. So I can tell you from personal experience, and I can give you some name and numbers if you really want to go back and check as well.
I think the important thing, I think the important point that Bakari made is while that may be the case today, Kamala is 60 years old, and back when she went.
Suspect Zero, let her finish. Let her finish. It's gonna come right back to you. Let her finish. Let her finish. Then it's gonna come.
I'm muting myself.
Okay, so this is why I added to the point that I graduated in 2001, but I have a sister that preceded me by 9 years that is an AKA and also a FAMU graduate. And when we went to her, she, of course, her probate show, her graduation, went to see her on campus. There were white and there were Indian kids, students that were there on the campus. When my brother went to Florida A&M a couple of years later, he precedes me by 6 years. There were also white and there were Indian. By the time I came, I went to college in 1997. By the time I came in, there were some Asians as well, but there were always, as I'm just pointing out, I know Kamala is 60. My sister is Kim is 57. Okay, and my brother is 53. So I'm saying that there was always presence. I'm not saying they were flooding the campus, but there was presence. And also, if we know a little bit about affirmative action and scholarships, they work the other way as well.
Absolutely.
Those HBCUs.
Okay.
Do you think an AKA sorority would have allowed her to pledge?
Yes, because they got all light skinned girls. Yep.
Who is a Delta? She actually crossed. I have a cousin who is a Delta, and she crossed at Spelman, and she crossed with a white with a white woman. Was
in
that
the 80s? In the 80s?
No, in the 90s, and that was she was her tail.
That's all I'm saying. That's a decade. That's a big jump in culture.
Zero, let me handle this, Suspect Zero.
It could be 2-3 years. It's not always a decade.
Wait a minute. So I'm gonna show you something, right? So when people now see, I don't throw out accolade, but I can. So when we talk about this HBCU shit, I've been on the one on here defending it. I done been in Supreme Court so HBCUs can get some money. I done walked down the aisles with my parents so they could get some money. My folks is the one to make sure the HBCUs still open in the state of Mississippi. So I'm gonna learn y'all something. It might have been one white person at a HBCU in the 80s. If don't nobody show me no picture, I ain't gonna believe it. I don't care who said it. Because I'm going, white people and other people started going. They went when, not white people, other people went when HBCUs first opened because they wouldn't accept it into other schools. Black people let them come. When they started getting accepted in other schools, the flood, the influx of non-black people at an HBCU came late 90s to the early 2000s simply because they had to, in order to get the little state funding that they get, they had to have a certain amount of non-black students at those schools. So yes, affirmative action works both ways, but in the 80s, I don't care. If can't nobody show me, I ain't gonna believe that. Because I've been dealing with this my whole damn life. It sounds good to say. And that's why they did a special on a guy who played football at Grambling. They did a movie about him, Grambling's White Tiger. in around 78, 79. He graduated in the early 80s. He was the only white person on the campus. They were not going. They started going. They started in Alabama because they started getting a check, not just go to school for free. The state of Alabama would give them about $500 a month to go to an HBCU. So then in order to constantly get the little state funding they get, because they're extremely underfunded, they had to be a certain percent non-black. So this back to, I can rock this with the conservative community shit. When my folks sued the state of Mississippi, so the HBCUs can stay open. If they still didn't give them what they deserved, the conservative community in the conservative state spent $1.3 billion and stayed in court from 1975 to 1996 to keep from giving those HBCUs in the state of Mississippi what they want. So when we walk down this political lane, see, it was so-called what they'll be called MAGA today that was trying to kill my folk. I go back home, my name goes certain areas. It's gonna ring bells. And it's most definitely the conservative white folk. See, these conservative states that folks talking about, and they can talk. Them folks ain't never came and ran your dad off the road in a car. You ain't never been treated different at school with your friends because your last name when you around them people. So if ain't nobody got no pictures to prove that white people and all those other people was at an HBCU in the 80s, I'm just gonna be honest with you. It ain't.
I got you, Brother Bakari, but
us all one.
If I had to ask you to prove that you was black, right? All you would have to do is show me your mom and dad. And all I'm saying is that, like, y'all did her attendance in the HBCU, her being in a sorority, that is fraggle naggle bull as evidence for her being black. Listen, you're black when you have come from a black woman and a black man. That's it. Punto final. Like us going around and about like she's a AKA. I don't give a damn. Is she an AKA? I done seen Chinese women doing a step show and shit. That don't prove a goddamn thing to me. I'm sorry if it means something. I'm sorry if it means something to other people who are part of these Greek fraternities and stuff and sororities. It don't mean shit to a person who I don't have a Greek Zeta, Delta, Phi, Mi, Fu, Pi, whatever. I'm not in none of that stuff, right? I know I look at your mama and your father, and near one look black. That right. It shouldn't be too much. This is too much conversation. This is too much. It's too much.
Can I say something?
You're right, melanated. It is too much, but you're the one who brought it up, ignoring.
It should have been agreement. It should have been agreement, but
no. That was not the topic. You tell me I should agree with y'all when I'm on here proving a point. My life was done to prove a point. How black people only see one side. I'm not going to agree with y'all when I came here to prove my point. And my point have been proven because y'all ignored facts that I showed to go to talking about her race. I never brought up her race. Y'all did. I talked about the things that she did. Questions that was asked that was never answered. See, y'all tried to move it. Now you're going to tell me I should agree. I did this to prove a point. And my point was absolutely proven. Go ahead, Suspect Zero. Suspect Zero.
I'm just kind of listening right now because I don't totally agree with the last speaker. I mean, I do understand. I totally do, but I feel like in America, there is perhaps a difference between being traditionally Black or African American and living the Black experience. Because they're pretty much one and the same. And you don't have to be all the way black to live the black experience in America, because we're bumped up against white America. And if you're not white and you're not obviously Hispanic, you're probably black in America. So that's your experience. So while the heritage, the lineage, the back to slavery days, whether or not that's where her father originated from, I don't know. But the experience in America for people that are not white are pretty similar based on your economics. So, I mean, I just don't understand how anybody with any melanation in this country today would be supporting someone that is obviously a racist. I mean, regardless of what the policies are, her policies are, like, he's obviously vocally a racist. Like, I don't get it.
So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get back to the topic. I know ain't nobody gonna answer no question. Please, the Hotep guy in Hollywood doing, because still ain't nobody answer them. The only reason we got to the black topic is because they refused to answer the questions and started talking about black. My point, once again, like I told my homeboy who let me know he listened, I say don't care what I show and prove about Trump. Watch how many black people gonna figure out a way to skate around it so he can get a pass and find everything negative to talk about the other side. So tonight, I'm the other side. I don't care for either one. I'm the other side. I would never vote for somebody who, I'm the African American. I don't care who other people vote. For the record, me personally, my political party is black. But I can tell you one thing, there's two people that's running in this election.
Yes.
One person said how she feel about black women losing black babies in the hospital and what she is going to do about that.
Yes.
The other one said black people make 61 cents. Me say that same person who talked about the babies said black people make 61 cents on the dollar while other people make 81 cents on the dollar, and we're going to change that. But then she ain't black. So the only thing the other one said is, look at my African American, the blacks, a black job, whatever that. So what I'm saying is, and I stand on what I say, fuck Trump and fuck Matt. So what I'm saying is, when I asked the question and I brought up what she have done, right? So that's what everything then. So there's no need to ever worry about it, melanated. That's what everything. So once again, black folks can't say nothing about. Black people refuse to say something about this fucking bigot. I don't get it. Black people refuse to say something about this dude. That's the purpose of mine. That's the purpose of this. They refuse to. It don't make a difference what he say. I'm gonna find the negative about the other side though.
How, Brother Bakari, how can you say that black people don't talk about Donald Trump, but you talk about Joy Reid? Did you mention they talk about Donald Trump? Roland Martin talks about Donald Trump. Who are these people that are not talking about Donald Trump, Brother Bakari? Please tell me.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. Social media black folks that spread the lie. Kamala Harris arrested thousands of black people for nonviolent marijuana charges. That was proven false. Then I talked about so then on this panel tonight, I talked about, so since arresting black people for nonviolent marijuana charges hurt the black community, only 45 was arrested. So then what I asked was, so are you so if that hurt, that means the organizations that she built and the things that she did to help those nonviolent, because according to y'all, they're all black. So to help all those black first-time nonviolent offenders who had pled guilty. She helped them get their record expunged, gave them job training. She only have a 10% repeat offenders rate. I asked, do that help the black community? Then I let somebody take me down a bumpy toe road talking about she ain't black. Neither is Donald Trump. So I don't care what he's saying, but neither is he. I know he ain't saying it, but he ain't black either. So nobody ever answered the question. So if
okay, so I guess I didn't see the original question. Yeah, I came in after that was asked.
If she allegedly did all that and was been proven false and it hurt the black community, don't that mean her creating organizations, getting people job training, getting people records expunged, only having a 10% repeat offenders rate? Before her, it was a 50% repeat offenders rate. Don't that mean she helped the black community?
So that's just your original question? Okay, because what I was responding to, or the reason why I clicked in was, again, I'm on my business account and I hadn't, clicked in a live in a minute.
Are you going to answer the original? See, once again, wait a minute, because this is what happened when I asked the original question. Ain't nobody going to ever answer. I will, though. Yes.
Does that help the black community?
Yes, it did help the black community. I'll answer because everybody else scared to answer.
It wasn't that I wasn't going to answer it. I was just referring to the fact that I hadn't heard it until just now, and I was reacting to the reason why I clicked in specifically. But yes, of course, that helps the black community. But that's not the only thing. When I came in, the conversation was about the priorities in this particular election, and so that's the reason why I came in. I mean, that's the reason why I jumped up on the panel, and that's what the discussion was. So I had not heard the original question until just now when you posted. So, yeah.
So that means she actually helped the black community. Good. So now I'm going to ask another question because you answered, Omega. I'm glad you're here. You're the only one answered. But Wanda took me back to Abraham Lincoln. Wouldn't answer the question. So I'm going to ask the question again. When people spread the lie about all the black people she took to jail for truancy, then when you read and look it up, I put the name of the articles and everything in the chat. She went, checked on kids, grade school, elementary age kids who had missed 30 days or more straight, unexcused. Do you think she should have said anything? Now, by the way, none of those parents were arrested either. She also helped them and helped them get some job training. But since we say they were all black, this is a two-part. So should she have said something to those parents that let grade school students stay home 30 days or more unexcused?
She could have.
Well, so to discuss about the unexcused stuff, in the state of California, which when she was a senator, that Dinah Samir discussed about a particular parent who was penalized when their child's absences were excused and the child had a chronic medical condition that was documented under a federal document called a 504 plan. The child was documented to have sickle cell anemia, and that parent was incarcerated and charged for their child's absences under Kamala Harris. So I don't think we necessarily want to promote this. If the policy isn't being implemented as it is intended to, or if this policy maybe has some errors in the way it is written, in that way people who have chronic conditions like asthma, sickle cell, cancer, and so forth would actually be penalized and their absences be unexcused, and they will receive criminal charges because this parent was received criminal charges for their child's absences, and they actually lost their job and everything else. It was really, really horrible. We don't want to promote that. Like it's like there's other ways of addressing attendance issues. Number one, and number two, truancy being an issue that relate that goes to the point of a parent being charged did not start yesterday, right? That's something that has been in place in public education for decades, right? Like, I mean, I know I've been in with the school system at least 11 years, and we make calls. You know, once a child reaches 10 unexcused absences, that warrants a call to Child and Family Services at 10, right? Not 30.
It wasn't always like that.
Again, I'm saying for myself, at least the last 11 years, and it could go even further, right? That at 10 absences, so at three absences, there's a letter that goes out to the parent. At 5 absences, the school does I literally do this on a daily basis at work, right? At 5 absences, you meet with the parent, you create a plan. At 10, the parent is notified that a call to the Child and Family Services will be made. You have to do it not a call, but you have to do it in writing. You have to complete a report and everything else. This parent will be documented with the Department of Child and Family Services for educational neglect, right? At 10, not at 30, not at 20, at 10. So this is already in place. She's not instituting anything groundbreaking, anything.
Those are all the progressive policies that have been implemented over the decades. Because
Melanated, are you from California? See, you talking about your state.
I'm saying it's federal.
It's not even that.
That's
It's
federal.
not even
What I'm
our
saying-
state. I'm from California.
That's federal.
Wait a minute.
It is
The
now.
proof was
It
when they
is
did it,
now.
It was shown.
Now, as in what? 2020, what year? When you say now,
Because
what are you
of
saying?
progressive democratic policies, it's in
When you
place
say now, as in what year? Wait, what are you saying? Like now, as in just 2023, 2024?
Well, I'm gonna if I say anything, I'll say maybe the early 90s, late 80s, maybe somewhere around there, maybe.
Okay, so she's not doing anything brand new. I got you. We're on the same page then. Exactly. Well, I'm just saying, Brother Bakari, right? You're not, but Brother Bakari was promoting, was speaking about her policies as if this is something that is.
Everybody's so angry at a brown chick.
But Melanated, this is what I'm gonna tell you, Melanated.
Wow.
Read the article. Melanated, read the article.
Wow.
Because I'm not just up here talking. That's why I put the articles in the chat.
Wow.
Whether she implemented it or not, they talked about how it was treated before her and how it was done there, how she handled it. So guys say, what's the proof she did this for black people only? What's the proof? I never said she did, guy. This is why I say we don't listen, because we hate other black people so much. Because we ain't trying to fight white people. You're contrary to those.
Stop referring to the lady as black, Brother Bakari. Cut it out.
If you let me finish saying what I'm saying, watch this. You're being contrary to those black people that vote Democrat all the time. So I'm going to prove I'm smarter than them. So by being smarter than them, I would never say nothing about Trump. I'm just going to talk negative about Kamala Harris. She didn't get me because I was talking about something else, guy. I keep telling y'all got a problem with listening. So once again, when Guy said, tell me she did all this for black people, I never said she did all that for black people. What I did was, black people said every person she put in jail for nonviolent marijuana offenses was black. So I counted that by saying 45 people went to jail. And I counted it by showing the plans that she had, how people, out of all those people that got convicted, 1,965, right? 1,956. 45 went to jail. 45 went to jail. That's it. So if all of them black, that means, according to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, liars. If all of them are black, that means the program she instituted was only for black people then. You can't have it both ways. See, I listen to both sides. I'm not caping for one or the other. But I know black people is mad with Democrats, so black people ain't even mad with Kamala. They are mad with black people for just voting Democrat. They have a right to be upset with them. So, but me being who I am, when I say I heard all these lies and you look up and you study something else, when you study it and you find that they made this up, they made this up, they made this up. So when I asked the question, nobody answered the question. Thank you, Omega Courtney, you did. They went around, started talking about her race. Everybody, so I say, did she do that for black people? Did she do it? Because if she only arrested black people, that means she only created a program for black people. And another point, we know more than black people was arrested. But when we get on these social media sites and tell these lies, but then keep our mouth permanently stuck to Donald Trump's ass, with everything that this man has said, we refuse to say anything negative about him. Something is wrong with black folk. It ain't, I don't want to hear shit about no white folk, about no white supremacy. I don't want to hear none of that. Because you got what y'all call white supremacy. I don't believe in it. You got one running for president right now that refused to denounce David Duke in an interview. Do y'all know who David Duke is? Look up David Duke. He refused to denounce David Duke. Refused to denounce the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. But we will sit here as black. So if somebody get lynched, anything happen to black people, I don't want to hear that shit. Because y'all scared to talk about the person that's scared to fucking denounce it. Y'all scared
Well said. Well said, Brother Bakari.
I ain't talking about ABC, NBC, Fox. I'm talking about everybody that getting on social media and they refuse to say anything about him tonight. He refused to denounce him. But y'all hold him up. Well, he ain't lying like he black. Oh, of course he can't lie like
Well, and it's not about black, half black, little bit black, white. It's authoritarianism against democracy. That's really what we're up against right now. It's not black or white. I mean, they'll make it about that because they've always made it about that because that's what keeps us divided.
I don't think that it's about authoritarianism over democracy. I think this is about kingdom versus culture. And again,
what's the kingdom?
Kingdom is conservative and having morals and principles. And
so are you speaking in a Christian way?
Let her finish.
Yes,
let her finish.
Yes, Christian based and proud of it. Democrats, okay, are into creating these different identity politics and creating a rhetoric that is absolutely not beneficial for upholding principles and morals. Absolutely not. So that's what my main concern is. That's what my main concern is.
And I think that the more that we start to actually expand and learn about other cultures, we can even expand that from being Christian based to just being a culture or a spiritual practice that shares similar values and principles. Because this LGBT is not embraced in traditional African belief systems. It's not embraced in Islam. Like, it's not just a Christian. Not only Christians hold those same values and principles of man, woman, and child, of the traditional family, the whatever that, I forgot the term, but the husband, wife, and children. Like, they believe that marriage should be between man and woman. Like, that's not just Christians that believe that. And so again, when I was saying that I am not like liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, there are certain values and principles, and whomever is espousing those values and principles that align best with what's important to me, that's who will earn my vote. I'm not just a blind loyalty towards one particular party, and I feel like a lot of times, especially in America, African Americans tend to say you ain't black if you're not democratic, which is why Joe Biden could utter that out of his mouth, because black people say things like that. When you're around people, and when I'm around people and I start to push back on the Democratic Party, the way I'm looked at, where I'm like, oh, so you're cool with not being considered a mother. You want to be called a woman with the capacity to give birth, a person with the capacity to give birth. That's what you're cool with that. Then they go, oh, no, it's not that. But then, when are we going to start talking about those things? You're cool with being replaced by the Venezuelans, right? Where the Hispanic population will now go way past 13%, and we're going to be even more of a minority in this country, and our vote won't count for anything. You're cool with illegal people being granted just granted citizenship, where there are people who have been in this country for 5 and 6 and 7 years waiting to take a test to earn their citizenship, right? Like, all of these things we want to ignore because we got a bigot who wants to be the president, because we got somebody who wants to say, view and view dark-skinned people, black people, in a negative way. For me, nah, because I still have to live in this country after the election day, right? That's what's most important to me. Is after election day, my day-to-day, right? And again, I keep talking about our children and in the schools. That's what's most important to me. Not if he hates black people. He hates black people, but a woman is a woman. All of these immigration, gun violence, all of these other things are addressed. I'm okay with it. I don't care, because guess what? 15 years ago, 20 years ago, they wasn't loving damn black people. It wasn't no kumbaya between, like, I don't know why we're pretending as if white people used to love us, but now Trump is here and he hates us now. Like, I don't know why we're pretending. And that's where, to me, it's very disingenuous the way people are coming. This position is nothing new. Nothing new.
I agree. And I think it is disingenuous. And another way that this is actually very harmful is that it absolutely gives, I want to be honest, white Democrats or white liberals, this is what Malcolm X spoke of, in being that they are so dangerous in this regard, because they give the illusion of they are pro-black and this and that. But the fact of the matter is that this is something that they can wear as almost a shield to say, oh, I'm a Democrat. I voted for Obama. I voted for Kamala. They can say this. Oh, I have a Black Lives Matter poster. I have a Black Lives Matter sign in my yard. But I can tell you from personal experience, like I said, on that dais, that Democrats, they are just pro-self. It does not matter if the person sitting on that same side is a Democrat or not. They are pro-self.
Can I ask a question?
Hold up, suspect zero. Hold up.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna ask, but then I'm gonna let MG2 go because he just came up. But I do. Go ahead, because y'all be cutting in. I'm getting a little old. Go ahead. Okay, so now I'm gonna talking about the immigrant. When I mentioned it's the conservative Republicans that blocked the immigration bill, that blocked that bill from being passed. Why is it? Why is it everybody will ignore that? See, my point is, in grandma, me and Erica talk all the time. She even missed my point. My point ain't up here to cape for no Democrat, but it's like black people don't understand how they are so contrary in going against other black people just for the hell of it, how this bastard can get a pass on every damn thing he say and every damn thing he do. Because when you mention it, once again, people gonna bring up Lyndon B. Johnson, they gonna bring up Obama. Obama went all the way back.
Obama, way back machine.
He went all the way back to Abraham Lincoln. We can't even admit, like, damn, Kamala said this about black. Instead of saying, let me listen for the whole thing in depth to see what she's talking about, we're just completely. The amazing thing is, it's black women on here. that's willing to ignore a woman that said black
Yes.
women, ladies, is dying in
Yes.
the hospital. We gonna do something about that. It's
Yes.
black women.
Yes.
Because we've been so caught up in these damn social media cults where we only see one thing one way and we can't see nothing else. Because damn it, if I say this, that means I'm taking up a Democrat. I don't care how people feel about me. I know how I feel about a Democrat and a Republican. I know my feelings about Kamala. But the point, when I said, I'm gonna bring this up, lies been told. They're continually being told. And everybody will completely ignore those things. To just say, well, this happened. But then when you bring up Trump, then they say, what about Obama? Like, goddamn, Obama, he ain't trying to run no more. So Obama don't count. We talking about the two people that's running right now. The same person who, this is what people don't like to talk about. Y'all can look this up too. The same person that when he lost the election, put 7 black people to death on federal death row. 2 of them they say had they wanted to open a case again because they had proof where they might be innocent. And he went ahead and said, go ahead. We will ignore all that to take the conversation to Kamala ain't even all the way black. And that's the point I'm trying to get. Something wrong with us because we ain't fighting white people. The only people black people fight
is black people.
We gonna show these black people. We gonna show these black people they wrong for steady voting Democrat.
Well,
Right
like
Bro,
I said,
when I-
exceptions may not change standard, but I know
Bro,
for
when I
sure
asked
we
this
did.
question, wait a minute.
We fought.
Wait a minute. Because when we go to talking about politics, I can talk about the senators and congressmen and everything that have been to the House. I've sat down, I've met them from my dinner with my pop. Shit, I'm growing up. I've been doing this my whole life. The point that I'm making, nobody ever wants to talk about the other side. That was the basis, but I still say fuck Trump and fuck MAGA. We was on it the other night. Nobody would say that but me. Nobody would say fuck Trump, fuck MAGA but me. But y'all would
I'll say it. I'll say it. Fuck
Like
Trump
guys say,
and fuck
who
MAGA.
said those-
I'm not
those
saying
black
fuck
people-
Republicans.
So when people say, when guy asked the question, who said those programs were only for black people? The same people who say she only arrested black people. So then when I bring up the question and show what she did with those programs, now we're gonna flip that and say it wouldn't just, if she only arrested black people, that means the damn program was only for black people. Y'all can't see, and that's the thing. We want it both ways. But I listen, and I listen well, and I'm not stuck. I can either side. So now we talking who got killed under this person, who got killed under that person. Donald Trump wouldn't even say that the police, in this the other day, the police that killed Sonia Massey, he couldn't even say he wouldn't give that guy full immunity. Well, I have to look at the full thing, but it's okay. But all of that shit is okay. It ain't nobody else because we scared to look in the mirror and accept accountability. We got good conservative communities though. Them same conservatives that spent $1.3 million to keep from giving HBCU $500 million a piece. I'm gonna spend $1.3 million because I'm gonna shut y'all down. I've been trying to shut y'all down since 1968. Huh? But no, my bad. I shouldn't have said that. Because black folks got a problem with the HBCU. Go ahead, MG2.
Man, I was trying to come up, Brother Bakari, with every sneak diss I could come up with. But the thing is I figure in this conversation, first off, I got to say hello to everybody out there. It's just wonderful listening to y'all. And I have to kind of, hold my tongue a little bit because this is a conversation that's more than likely above my pay grade. I'm outmatched because this is more for domestic thinking. And in the words of Malcolm X, I can't hold a conversation and I'm outmatched because I'm a field Negro. And this is definitely not a conversation for field Negroes. Here's what I mean. You know that I think Kamala Harris is the worst thing since sliced bread. Okay. And I told you my encounter with Trump as well as my encounter with Biden and everyone else. My dad was a hardcore, he worked with a lot of lobbyists throughout the Republican Party and also got a lot of stuff done with Democrats. The thing is that a lot of folks, like I said, being a field Negro, and this is being more of a domestic conversation, what I mean by that is more of how you feel and what you think somebody would say and this, that, and the other. And I hate to be mean, but I got to be real, and I've seen it for over 60 years. United Snakes' government, for lack of a better term, is not its politicians. It's its courts. Whoever fills those courts gets stuff done. That's their government. Laws are made when courts and business get together. You best believe there's a law. But unfortunately, with domestic thinking, you start thinking in terms of politicians being your so-called government. Hey, that's okay. I've seen it for 60 years at least. But here's the kicker. Kamala Harris, being someone who's in California, I could tell you point blank what she's all about, okay? We saw her record point blank. I saw it when I was in a cell and there was a 19-year-old facing 30 years that I'm pretty sure that after 20, he got out for having weed. And if you're talking about the Kevin Cooper case, where, he's, from what I believe, he was still in death row, but it is what it is. Those little social media, again, I understand where you're coming from. A lot of misled, social media, so-called fact checking, irrespective of the fact that, yes, the arrest for pot went down 0.5% under her. But the thing is it was still, if you look at, relatively speaking, who was getting arrested more than anyone else, it was black folks for weed. White boys have dispensaries. That young brother's still in jail. Now, that's another thing, because we could go over her record and whatnot. And, I'm really big about the record. Like, I'm totally anti-Democrat, totally anti-Kamala. And matter of fact, I am beyond pro-Trump. I'm going to say it again. Of course, being a field Negro, I want Trump to be in there. Why? Not being a domestic, because domestic thinking is about what the other guy can do for you. In other words, I like my Klansman clanny. Here's what I mean. I want my enemy in my face. The fact that he didn't say anything about Sandra Massey just made it more and more available and more righteous for me to go ahead and combat Trump, to be Trump's enemy. See, that's the thing that unfortunately a lot of black folk, again, domestic versus free thinking. And I hate to be mean, but I got to be real. Again, this is over 6 decades of lived experience traveling the world 10 times over. The thing is when you start looking at their so-called government or their so-called, I could care less about Trump's racism. Matter of fact, I cussed him out at Radio City Music Hall, so I don't really care and he was promoting my gig. I don't care. The bottom line is Trump did more for black folk, not like he wanted to do stuff for black folk. He did it to save his own ass, but a byproduct, it was much better for us. Look at the so-called institutions that he destroyed. In other words, he wasn't a bull in the china shop in his own house. He was a little piece of china in a bullpen in his own house and destroyed his own house. That made it more and more functional, more available, and more realistic. If black folks pull their heads out of their you-know-whats and start looking at and being competitors, they would have taken advantage of the 4 years of craziness and insanity that Republicans, i.e. these racists, yes, they are Klansmen, they would have been taking advantage of it and been more competitive. Unfortunately, every other race, and especially East Indians, took advantage and outcompeted black folks to this very day. Now, here's what I mean. When you look at Trump and his 4 years of his debacle and the opportunities we had as black folks, if we were thinking outside of social media and our own egos and domestic thinking, you're looking at USAID, UN Fund, NATO, IMF, World Bank, SEC, NFA, all these other organizations that have definitely been the boom. Again, like I said, courts, because they are in bed with courts, not with Marco Rubio and those other brokebacks. They're in bed with the regulation societies that have been hurting black, and I'm talking black folks globally, not just in United Snakes. Everything from SEC, everything from NFA, UN Fund, you name it, they have been destroying black folks globally. Trump came in and destroyed it all, not because he liked us. It's because he's saving his own ass. And that's one thing that my dad taught me working with a lot of lobbyists. He would come up to me and, yeah, this is a cracker here, this cracker there. At the time he was with that GW or whatever that bastard's name is, but he knew how to use them to where he got a bunch of brothers that were doing 40, 50, we're talking, football scores. He got them out of the prisons just because he knew how to work their quote unquote courts, i.e. their so-called government. But the thing is, and I hate to be mean because like I said, I'm outmatched in this, but I have record and I have evidence because I have my own family that was also doing time as well as something that I almost did. And fortunately, I had the backing of these bastards that you guys don't like too well. And I'm glad. Because the thing is, we knew how to use them. Government is not something for black folk to feel good because somebody called you N-word or somebody, they didn't talk about Sandra Massey. I don't expect Trump. I expect the skunk to stink, Brother Bakari. If he said anything about Sandra Massey, I would have been scared. If he would have said anything about that cop, I would have been scared. I expect the Klansmen to have David Duke there. And if he doesn't, then I'm scared. I want my enemy, and not something that I could be a domestic and rationalize their thinking and kumbaya. That's foolishness. Many of you guys don't know what Prop 8 is. Maybe you do. Y'all know what Prop 8 is. It was out there in California. Let me know if you do know what Prop 8 was. But Prop 8 destroyed black folks. This is under Kamala Harris.
I remember Prop 8, voting for it.
Yes, same here. And that was to ban brokebacks and faggots getting married because they were going to take subsidies from black folk. Okay. And then that little faggot judge that Obama was in bed with, the San Francisco drug, because remember, Prop 8 passed. It was a ban on so-called, it's not just a gay marriage situation. It's all the subsidies from Medi-Cal, Medicare, all the things that DPSS give you. They were going to go ahead and push it over to these faggots and these alphabet soups that now you guys have to compete with. And now you're losing money with because of Kamala and Joe. But let me tell you what happened with Prop 8. See, the thing is we voted for Prop 8. We did not want brokebacks because we knew the economic impact was going to destroy black folks. Well, lo and behold, your friend, and you know I'm being facetious when I say that, Brother Bakari, your friend, Kamala Harris, she declined to defend Prop 8 and accelerated the fact that they took the plebiscite and got rid of it, and through some kind of a faggot executive order, Obama's boyfriend, white judge, went and scrapped it. And here's what happened. These crackers and these faggots came back with a vengeance. And I was subjected to it because I lost a lot of money, a lot of opportunity. A lot of black folks did. Why? Because we voted to make sure we banned it because we knew what was going to happen to us. Kamala Harris fast-tracked that shit to Obama and his faggot judge. And now black folks have lost over 40% of the opportunities from bank loans, from jobs, from promotions, because these faggots got in and says, you guys didn't let us get married. I saw more black folks, including myself, getting fired off of gigs because of that. But this is who you like. You know I'm being facetious. Many of you guys don't realize, if you look at the record of Kamala Harris and you look at it in terms of its economic impact on black folk, all you got to do is walk downtown in LA and you're going to see it. You're going to see that whole area, because this is not something that happened overnight. This is something that Democrats, liberals, the so-called social justice nonsense has done over, we're talking decades, we're talking 90s, we're talking, especially early 90s, early 2000s. And all you got to do is walk down, or this is what I did today, and you're going to see the impact. Nothing but black folks living in tents. See, that's the thing. A lot of us emotionally think, but don't pragmatically and practically act. And that's just something that's very insidious and it's very scary with the so-called, and when you talk about individuals not saying F Trump or whatever, because I don't like to cuss when there's women around, and I did it earlier and I'm sorry for that. The thing is I say that with my actions. Okay, I will use him. He was one of the best tools, especially if that circus that you saw the other day on that NABJ, that is where you use that tool. He's a child. Trump is nothing more than an impetulant or an impotent, petulant child. You use that, okay? I don't care. I have no emotion tied to a roach, and I don't have any emotional tie or anything to Trump. I squash it, no different. I'm not gonna sit there and say, man, that roach made my house. F that roach. No, I squash it, I kill it. And Trump ain't no different. None of these folks ain't no different. Kamala, Trump, Biden, and none of them. You talked about immigration. Let me tell you something about immigration. Okay, and we're not just talking sanctuary cities. Before, and I did a few live streams, I'm sure you were part and parcel of watching that, Brother Bakari, of when they were getting on that last so-called election at the very beginning of Biden's term, and how they were fast-tracking visas for Venezuelans. And they got so overrun because I know a lot of Venezuelans that were asking me to find out, how did these other guys get in so fast and give me the same hookup? They were doing that. And the only way a lot of these cities could actually fund that was, well, we're going to have to do something with Medicare or Medi-Cal, or whatever state, subsidy, with their social services. We're going to have to do something with we're going to have to cut here and cut there. And where did they cut? Where black folks reside. That's why the streets aren't fixed. That's why your lights are not working. That's why when there's rolling blackouts like there are all over the place here, and especially in the hood, it always happens here first. Because they have to go and backstop that money that these two bastards, Kamala and Joe, did, because black folks are such a captive audience believing in the Democrat foolishness because they want to go ahead and have emotional ties to saying F Trump and not looking at practicality and pragmatic of what they've done. I just had a rolling blackout not long ago, and that was part and parcel because of these fools. I'm not even going to go into your pure economics of inflation and the food deserts. You think as I said, many other ethnicities have taken over their communities in ways that they need, and products, goods, and services they need for each other. Hispanics and the so-called immigrants, they've taken over this food supply. But lo and behold, guess what? No, black folks have to go to 7-Eleven for some food. If you want a piece of lettuce, you go get it out of a sandwich. Why? Because it's to accelerate black folks not having the subsidies for us to be able to have our own industries, because they have a constituency that outnumbers us called Hispanic.
We ain't gonna be able to respond. You going too long. We ain't gonna be able to respond.
To say you're blissfully okay, brother, let me finish.
Respond to something you said, because you.
Yeah, let me finish. To say you're blissfully unaware is an understatement. Do your research, and you're gonna figure it out that Trump is not only the best thing. I don't care if you want to say F Trump, but just know that you have to use him, hopefully, because he was much better than any of these liberals will ever be. I'll pass the mic.
Okay, the only thing I can say, you said something about grocery stores. When Trump was president, you had to set a time, what time you could go in the grocery store. This age group going in at 6, this age group going in at 8. Because I want people to know I'm the one. I had me a vehicle and I was out here and I was helping the elderly and I was helping people when COVID was here. So, and once again, when you talk about everything that's bad, once again, you just want to just blame one side once again. And y'all can say y'all don't care about somebody being in charge, not liking you. Guy put in the chat, Trump is just a talker. Trump say he gonna ban, what is that? Protest. Once again, when those white people protest, he shot tear gas just so he could cross the street. And if you think he gonna just shoot tear gas at black people. See, MG2 talked long, he talked a lot. He says some words. So you can't respond to everything. But I know when he mentioned the grocery stores, that didn't happen under Biden. I know it didn't happen under Biden. Because everybody was locked in the house. What time you going to the grocery store in the morning? What time? Trump was the president. This is the thing. For somebody to talk about, I ain't caping for Kamala. No, but y'all caping for Trump. I'm not caping for nobody. What I did was, and my point still stands, black people can't say nothing negative about Trump. They can only say something negative about one side, and the only reason they do is because that's the side that most black people vote for. I don't win in on Kamala. I'll go in on all of them. But my point, what I said, stands. That's why nobody answer no questions. That's why. That's why. I'm sorry, Omega Courtney answered your question. That's why everybody want to switch the topic. Guy, you're wrong. It's the lowest now. All you got to do is look and see. Lowest in the history of the country right now. Once again, we got social media stats. But all this stuff, it's written. All this stuff is written. But the guy you said, MG2, that's not who you say still in jail or probably did 20 years. That's not the person I was talking about. I'll go through my articles and I'll find the name. Because once again, what we did, we're going to always move the topic because I'm so infatuated with conservatives because conservatives said something. They don't like gay folk. Okay, I don't care. That's conservative business. People have the right not to like gay folks. That ain't my thing. I'm not gay. So I'm not out here fighting for that. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about black folks. And the thing about it is, we can't stay on black folks. It's okay for Trump to say and do whatever he wants. So when Trump say my African American, I see why it sounds like we got a lot of people that's willing to go block bullets for Trump. And I don't care which side you choose. Like I said, I did this to prove a point. My point have been proven. Black people got problems with black people. That's why they against Democrats. Now, that ain't the only reason. Let me rephrase that. because Democrats have screwed. I know why black people is mad at Democrats. I understand that wholeheartedly. But to say I can only use Trump, I ain't gonna buy that.
Wait, so is Democrat a black a party? Is that what you're saying? Like, I'm confused on what you're saying. You said wait, hold on. You said black people got issues with black people. That's why they don't want to vote Democrat. So what can you explain that statement?
Because the majority of black people vote Democrat. So the people that's constantly talking about the other side, they are just being contrary to black people. Now, when you
are they not being contrary to the issues of Democrats? Like, I love black people, right? I don't. But what I'm saying is that, like, I'm saying no. Hold on. Listen. I'm saying that the things that Democratic people who happen to be black people that they support, because I'm black, doesn't mean I have to support those things. And if I don't support those things, you shouldn't try to twist it that I have issues with black people. No, I have issues with the issues, with the principles, with the values, with the policies.
I got you.
Why are you merging those two? Like, to me, that's like a trick, or that's not fair to word it that way.
It's absolutely fair. So I'm going to tell you why.
No.
I'm going to tell you why I worded it that way. Right?
Word it. Tell me why it's fair. That's my question. Like, I want to know why it's fair.
You have to let me finish saying what I'm saying. So when I say they want to be contrary to black people, that's why they won't ever say nothing negative about the other side. Because black people,
I have called him a bigot I don't know how much more you want me to say. He's a bigot. That's negative. Unless you interpret that as being positive. Now I want to know, how is it fair?
You have to let me finish, Melanated. I'm not talking about one person. I'm talking about when I sit and I listen to everything in the black YouTube world is what I'm talking about, right? The majority, they're gonna just point on that, because these black people, and trust me, I have this conversation with people that only talk positive about Democrats and ignore what they do. So when I'm sitting here, but most of those people are not on social media. And for the record, when people keep talking about it's the baby boomers generation, that means y'all absolutely out of the damn loop. Y'all need to check the young folks and see what the young folks talking about, and you will see it ain't gonna be baby boomers that gonna put Kamala in. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, so maybe it wasn't fair. So I'm gonna try to make it sound what I said is black people who only talk, they call left and right, conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat. Today, they only talking negative, everything negative about Democrat. And if you say something, like me, say something about the other side, because what's not fair is for us to only try to put in our people ear that Democrats are the ones that just been bad, right? Democrats are the ones that just been bad. Because that's all black people is hearing from majority of black social media. So if I say something negative about Trump, that's why I said, when I asked the question, only one person answered the question. And then when I say black people can figure out a way to say it's okay to have somebody who will be and say, we're going to figure out a way to use it. It's okay to have somebody who's going to be the president of where you live who refused to denounce the Grand Wizard of the KKK, who refused to say the cop that killed Sonia Massey don't deserve full immunity, that refused to say those things. Absolutely refused. And when I mention that, we'll go to, Kamala ain't black. That was never my point. I never even said that at the beginning of this. I touched on.
I did hear you say that she was. That's what I asked. When I came on, I hit the panel, but I was on mute. The first I heard you say she's a black. You said she's a black woman. So that's why I said, hold on. Let me ask you a question. I asked you directly. Do you feel that she's black? You called her a black woman.
No, I'm saying when I say black people,
yeah, you did.
I'm not talking. Oh my, No, okay, if that's what you feel like saying.
You called her a black woman.
I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna say I misspoke, but I said blended, right? But the point that I see now, you got somebody down in the chat who's gonna vote for Donald Trump that say, why should Donald Trump denounce the KKK? Good question, but I ain't gonna answer that question. Why should y'all black folk want somebody to be your president who won't denounce the KKK?
Because he's more useful. That's why.
I mean, I feel like that's why I said that this race, this election is when it boils down to it, right? Because I don't want to make it seem like the things that you're bringing up, Bakari, are insignificant, are of no value, of no importance, right? They're clearly things that are important to you, right? And I want to be respectful of those things that are important to you, whether or not he denounces the people who killed this woman, whether he denounces the KKK. Those things to you represent the character that you're looking for in a leader, right? I'm asking you to also respect that for other people, right? And I will continue to bring up, for me, right, as a mom, as a black woman, me being a black woman is very important to me. As important as denouncing the KKK, or even more important, right? Because the KKK was around before I became a black woman, right? So I'm not imagining that it's just going to magically be gone, right? So before I was born, the KKK was here. So you can understand that for me, it's not as that much of an importance that this man denounces the KKK. I could care less if he does. It'd be nice if he does, but that's not going to determine my vote. My vote is if Kamala Harris, if they was to do like that judge and ask her, the Supreme Court judge, what is a woman? And Kamala Harris thought, well, a woman is, and she can't say a person with ovaries and a fallopian tube and an X chromosome, right? She can't say that shit with her whole entire chest. I got a problem, a whole problem. And the same bigot, orange, toupee wearing white man, he gonna say a woman is what I want to grab with by the pussy. Our woman, it has a fallopian tube, a uterus, X chromosome. It's a whole entire woman, a female human being, right? That's what he gonna say. For me, that's important. It might not be that important for you because you know what? Women who are transing into being men aren't trying to take away your identity. See what I'm saying? You don't see no woman growing a freaking beard and saying she's a better man than you. But guess what? The woman of the year had a dick. You see what I'm saying? So it's a big problem for me as a woman.
Melanated, I got you. And that's a problem for me. But I'm going to say again, why I didn't speak on none of that. Because that's all black folks speak on is one side. So if it's a problem, if black folks have a problem with both sides, why is it you speak on one side? See, the name of my thing is, the last thing I got is hold your damn money. I believe in things we have to do for ourselves. But I also know if I live in this country, that guy will be the president. And I know when he say no more protests, and if he shot, but maybe people don't go to protest. Maybe people ain't going to do, that's right, because we talk about the people that march. We talk about those people. Or maybe people ain't never been part of nothing where the Klan tried to kill your family. Maybe y'all ain't never been a part of that. And it don't bother you as much. So what? The Klan been here. Okay, you're right, they have. But so what? The Klan tried to kill some of my folks. So yes, and somebody who won't denounce the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan is a damn problem. And I don't see it. So since it's not a problem, I'm going to tell y'all right now, everybody in the chat and on this panel that don't think it's a problem, don't ever mention Rosewood. Don't ever mention Black Wall Street. Don't ever mention Wilmington, North Carolina. Don't ever mention none of the black towns or none of the black stuff that's been torn up throughout history by these people because y'all don't have a problem with it. you're okay. As long as they say, because my son is a son. My grandson is a son. My granddaughters, they are daughters. I don't call no man no woman. I ain't gonna call no woman no man. I just don't. I don't think that should be taught in school either. And even when you say what Dinah said, I can talk about that too. But why is it so difficult for y'all to talk?
But what about when your job requires for you to do it? What about when your job requires for you to do it?
My job don't do that. I don't know. So
exactly.
Wait a minute. You got to wait a minute. You got because once again, what you did, you completely ignored the fact.
Mine does though. So does Rosewood? Yes.
You got to wait a minute. You got to wait a minute and let me finish. Because you came in and once again, you completely ignored when you said the KKK might be important. And I said, yeah, them bastards tried to kill my daddy on a couple of occasions. Them motherfuckers kicked our door in. Told my dad go and look for his son, for our oldest brother. They come to the house and kick the fucking door in because my dad didn't bow down. So when we sit there and I say it's a problem for me, what you did was you clearly ignored that to go to your job to talk about something I said I don't agree with either. But
that's slightly disingenuous, Brother Bakari. That is.
No, it's not. No, it's
yes,
not.
It is. Yeah, it is. Because nobody is distancing or dismissing what you went through.
You kept talking. Yes, it's.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The only thing, when I said that, it was completely ignored and said, well, but what if your job make you? I'm like, God damn, I can sit here and talk about how these white folks tried to kill my dad. Well, as long as they say something, and that's the point I'm talking about. How we just stuck on one side. We can't see.
I completely ignored it.
We stuck in one side. We can't see the failures of both sides.
Wow.
This is what we need to do.
Okay, Brother Bakari, sorry for the interruption, brother, but that is slightly disingenuous. No, to equate Rosewood or what happened to my uncle when he was almost lynched, or my mom's family getting run out of Texas and things like that, to try to equate that we have no problem, that is not necessarily a very genuine statement. No.
So you win the abuse argument. So you stepped in to win the black abuse argument. Like my family suffered more. Is that what we're doing?
Can I say something? What he said. Melanated said something that was very important to me. Falling in love with the character, or not falling in love, to look for the character of a leader as somebody that you don't dismiss, that didn't say that said that cop, he'll think about him having immunity. That's okay. Some folks look for the character of a leader. I look to lead. Okay, I don't look for somebody else to lead me. And here's what I mean. Donald Trump is a racist. Yes, he's a Klansman. He's a degenerate. He's a liar, a con man. Shoot, I cussed him out personally. I know. But the thing is, more importantly, Brother Bakari, I like a tool that I like to use. I like a tool that's functional. He, to me, and all these so-called politicians are nothing more than a tool. The Democrats.
You can't afford him. You can't afford Trump. Foreign countries are buying Trump.
Right.
You don't have the bankroll for Trump. Let's keep it pimping.
Let me tell you what I mean by using him as a tool. Here's what I mean. I'm not talking personally. The things that he's doing to destroy United Snakes and all its institutions have been one of the most effective tools if black folk used it, as other folks have used it. Other folks, like Ukrainians and Iranians and Arabs and Mexicans, everybody's using this, even though they can't afford Trump. They're using a byproduct of his inept foolishness as something that they can use. Not looking for the character of a leader, as Melanated said. And that's okay. If a person likes the character of a leader, that's one thing. These other folks, like myself, look to lead. And when I say lead, I'm talking about taking control of the vacuum of foolishness that Trump or anybody creates. It's not a thing about you can't talk about the other, or you don't talk about the other side, but that's immaterial to me. I looked at what I can use. And all I see out of Democrats for 6 decades is they use black folks as tools. And it's never worked the other way around to that level to where black folks have the advantage. The thing is I could care less about how somebody thinks, what they say, what they do. I look to say, how can I use that? And if I can use that to have an advantage for Black folks, and that's much more functional than the other side, then I'm gonna go ahead and praise the thing that I can use and throw the other stuff in the trash. And that's what I've seen out of Democrats, like I said, for 6 decades. They use Black folks as tools. And it's unfortunate that we have not been able functionally to use them. So clearly we're doing something wrong.
And
Whereas
Trump used Black people as slaves. So pick your poison.
Only if Black folks let him. Government or politicians are there for you to use.
Once he's in office, you won't have the option. Have
Well, you
you
never
read
know.
Project 2025? You
Yes.
won't have the option.
Not
There
only have I
will
read
be
it,
no protest. There will be none of that.
protests. What have you gotten for protests, Melanated? Let me ask you guys, what have you gotten functionally to put you at a more advantage in United States over Koreans, especially in California?
Civil rights that gave everybody else that came to this country a right to be here. That
Well, what has it done for Black folks, whereas other folks don't protest like Black
allowed
folks?
us to not be slaves.
Well, I would rather go ahead and own and control.
You would
the
rather go ahead and be a slave?
I would
Okay.
rather control things.
Why are you putting words in his mouth? Why are you putting words in his mouth? Because guess what? Julio and Maria is not protesting a goddamn, and they are doing a lot better. Okay, Julio and Maria are not protesting. So let's stop crying over this. This is freaking irritating me. Like I'm screaming in my damn house.
It's irritating me too.
Because so we should be tired of freaking protesting or saying they want to stop.
We
us from
should be
protesting.
tired of
Hold
Black
on, stop,
people
stop cutting. No, we
fighting.
should be tired of cutting each other off. We should be tired of cutting each other off. I was literally in mid sentence just now. Right. What we should be tired of is why aren't we being at the top of freaking STEM programs? Why
We should be tired of Black people fighting against Black.
Yo, Bakari, tell Shorty people are speaking.
Hey, let them
We-
finish.
like,
Let them
Why aren't we? We should be tired of our graduation rates being what they are. We should be tired of the rate of how many Black, not brown,
Look
but
forward
Black
to 'em
children.
getting
Black
better
children.
under Trump.
Hello. How many Black children are in foster care? We have more children in the city of Baltimore, right? In Black children in foster care than the entire state of Maryland. That is fucking disgusting, right? So when we don't address that and we say it's racism, no, we gotta call our own shit out and fix our own house. That's what we gotta do. So stop all these people hate us and they want to, and the Ku Klux Klan ain't putting our babies in the freaking foster care. Ku Klux Klan ain't freaking having our dropout rate what it is, our incarceration rate what it is, our abortion rate what it is. That's the shit we need to fix. So because you know what, the Latinos, the Jews, the Asians, they're not worrying about who's in office. They are worrying about the principles, the values, the morals, discipline of their own community. Regardless of who's in charge, they still not going to be doing the fuck shit that we are doing. That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, Brother Bakari, because I'm using all kinds of profanity. I'm so sorry. I'm about to go on mute right now.
all night. So, I've been cussing all right. That's why I ain't said nothing. MG2 said he apologized because he don't cuss in front of women. The Lord knows I try not to, but I've been cussing all night. That's why I haven't said anything.
Brother Bakari, can I just finish what I was saying? But I don't mind because I love being cut off by
Wait a
women.
minute. Before you finish, MG2. MG2 gonna finish saying what he's saying. And he gonna give his closing statement. Because I won't he gonna give his closing statement. Then everybody gonna give their closing statement. Then I'm gonna let everybody know that this conversation ain't nobody disliking one of them. I said why I did that. I said why I did it. Go ahead.
Yeah, brother Bakari and I always go through this. This is my brother right here. That's why it's you give me perspectives and everything, and I love being cut off by women because I just love the sound of their voices. I'm telling y'all, I'm just digging it. The thing is I long for the day when Black folks start to look at things functional and not abstract. Koreans, Mexicans, and everyone else that were in LA in the 90s had a velocity of capital that was like probably about maybe 70% of the velocity of capital that Black folks had. In other words, how fast you spend the money. And that's how much money goes through your hands. Well, they were able to parlay because they were not out protesting, about Rodney King. They didn't protest about George Floyd. They didn't protest. They don't care. Well, some of them did because they were locked up in the pandemic. So, you had, a bunch of, Asians and all kinds of craziness out there. But the thing is they said, especially in Vietnamese town or Little Tokyo, they said, how can we use this? Even if we don't care whether it's Democrat, Republican, or whatever. I remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger was out there courting the Vietnamese community, they didn't even know who he was, but they did when he left because he gave them something. And that was quote unquote Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. So they really didn't care. Okay. The things that really got them is, what can we use this tool in this flea market called America, which is not a country. It's nothing more than a Walmart, because that's all United Snakes is. They said, how can we use this to our advantage as the Asian society or La Raza or Hispanic? They didn't care about none of this other stuff. They didn't care who was in office or who wasn't, as long as they got what they needed to get. The thing is, and the reason I am totally against Kamala and all the so-called liberal Democrat nonsense is because it is not functional and useful for Black folks to control this planet or control their own destiny. It's always been controlled by someone else. And we're looking forward to that. We look toward that again, as I think it was Melanated who said, that Brother Bakari was looking at the character of a leader. Cool. I'm not going to censure you for that, Brother Bakari. That's an admirable trait that you have, looking for the character of someone, saying, hey, how dare you not talk about this guy who said he was going to give the cop immunity who killed Sandra Massey? Well, me being Donald Trump's competitor, I would be scared if he did, because that would be expecting the Ku Klux Klan not to want to see a lynching. I want my Klansmen to be Klansmen, okay? Because it makes them easier to kill. The thing is I don't care about what you talk about or what they've said to me. I care about how I can use it. And it's not using it directly, although there's some ways I have used it directly and made some good money on it. The thing is I see what they're doing to destroy themselves, and I see how it has benefited Black folks overall, especially during that so-called pandemic. Especially the whole nonsense. If you ever watch the movie Totally Under Control, you're going to see how inept Donald Trump was and how we missed the mark as Black folks to take advantage of that vacuum of that idiot. The thing is I don't care about talking about one side or the other. I care about what gets things done and how I can use those things to get things done. As my sister was talking about, I think it was Melanated when she was talking about the impacts on our children. Little things like that. To me, it's immaterial to think, and that's just to me. Well, why would you not talk about that side and you let this side have a pass? If I have a functional screwdriver I can use better than the other one, you best believe that one's going to get a pass. I'm going to go ahead and praise it. I'll put it on the wall and plaque it in gold because I can still use it. Right now, at this present point and the previous point, it's been Republicans and it never has seen Democrats. Maybe one day I could get pregnant and then all of a sudden it'll happen where Democrats can be beneficial for Black folk. But I haven't seen it in over 60 years, and I'm not going to wait for another 60 to make it happen. I'm going to use what I see in front of me, and that is Donald Trump and his foolishness and Project 2025 and all of these crackers and the Peckerwood Klansman doctrine that they got out there. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use it as a sword against them if I do it correctly. I'll pass the mic. Thank you, Brother Bakari. And sisters, I can't wait for you guys to come back because I love listening to y'all. Y'all take care.
Hey, look.
Thanks to you, brother. And appreciated your contribution.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Melanated. Oh, and by the way, his channel is I don't even know which channel he be on the most. And by the way, YouTube don't be sending me the notifications either, MG2. Most of them, I don't get most of them. But go ahead, Melanated.
Well, I'm sorry. I know I went a little bit off just now, but so just really, like, as a person, who has not made up her mind and is still, but I'm very passionate about the topics and the principles and the values that I'm passionate about, and our youth, my own personal identity as a woman, and as well as other rights that we have, are definitely values that I feel will more so direct my voting, as opposed to if someone likes me or if they're mean or if they say mean things. And and so forth. I expect. I don't have expectations of people of European descent to be anything more than takers and colonizers. And, when I meet people who don't, I'm pleasantly surprised and I embrace them, and that's wonderful. However, I don't have those type of expectations. But I do think that as Black people, we need to safeguard who's a part of our group. It's very interesting that because she's the AKA and all of HBCU, but another person who's of Caribbean ancestry or even Nigerian or something like that, a fully Black person, they're considered an outsider, right? But this person of 20 something percent of African ancestry is just, they get the red carpet. Like, for me, that's just not cool. And for them to play on our Blackness, and I smoked weed, I listened to Snoop Dogg, and hey, I'm gonna, do a little, step dance and from my sorority, and that is insulting. And anyone that wants to be an extremist one dropper, right? I don't even know what to say. So I just feel like people, when you're making your decisions, I think before you go to Democrat and Republican, just write down a list of what's important to you. You think about your life. Are you at the age towards retirement and Social Security is important to you? Maybe look at who values, the elderly. Don't vote based off of, I'm Black, I have to be Democrat. I'm white, I have to be Republican. Or like, that's stupid, right? Vote based off of if you are a business owner, who's going to benefit your business? Who's going to put policies to benefit your business? If you're a parent or if you're pregnant, who's going to, think about your kids, when you're voting, and if that happens to not be the Democratic Party, well, frig it. They should be considering you and your unborn child. To me, I'm just encouraging people to vote based off of your interests and not off of loyalty based off of your race. And yeah, that's what I got to say. Peace. Appreciate your panel, Brother Bakari. It's been a pleasure. Peace to everybody.
Melanated, I'm glad you came through. It's been a long time. This was an interesting conversation, interesting discussion. When you said, somebody had a question for MG2. They say, how are you going to use Trump? That's the question. After you answer that question, then I'm going to got somebody want to speak, then I'm gonna close out.
Whoever that is that asked that could go to the MG3 channel, because I say it like almost every video, and how not only have I used him and made money, but how Black folks in general can.
Okay. Well, look, I thank everybody for coming through. This is a good, interesting discussion. Like I said, I just wanted to see if anybody would talk negative about Donald Trump. I think that's just me and Kofi. I think that's just me and Kofi. Because here's the thing, MG2 say talking negative about people don't mean nothing. Well, if it didn't mean anything, they should talk negative about one side and not the other side. The other side is the side that seems to get a pass all of the time. So for me, personally, I don't want nobody over me who won't. Okay, Grandma. I don't want nobody over me personally who can't denounce and won't denounce the KKK, who can't say, I understand, or I expect them. So if I expect someone to give the murder of Sonia Massey full immunity, why would I want that person around? Because then if you say something or do something, then he brings out his military. And I ain't talking about the National Guard. Now, I'm just saying what they say, right? So then when Melanated say she's a school teacher, someone who want to completely defund the Department of Education, someone who says all civil work. So you up around DC area, if anybody around DC, just look at what type of jobs a lot of black people have. Civil service jobs. He's going to get rid of everybody that have a civil service position, and anyone else have to be a Trump loyalist to have that position. How can we say that is okay? Do I understand what you say about what they shouldn't be teaching the kids at school? A boy gonna be a boy, girl should be a girl. Absolutely. But if that guy win, you ain't got to worry about it. You ain't gonna have to worry. It ain't gonna be no school. We ain't gonna have to worry about it. We ain't gonna have to worry about it at all, because he wants to get rid of all of that. I am a firm believer in do for self. But I also know where I live. And I also know, I know you say you got the video, but you ain't send the video. Matter of fact, I'm going to send you a text and tell you to send me the video. Send a video to that number so I can play it. Ain't nobody seen it but you guys. Ain't nobody seen him denounce the KKK but you. He refused to denounce David Duke. Refused to denounce David Duke. Yes, look up Project 2025. If anybody who haven't heard, who haven't read Project 2025, I suggest you read it. So this, when we call Kamala a liar, I ain't gonna argue with you, say she not. But when Trump say he don't know anything about Project 2025, but they do have stuff in it I agree with. How the hell you have never heard of it, but they got stuff in it that you agree with? I don't get it. He don't know about it, but they got stuff in it that he agree with. Huh? Yeah, it's an extremely large document. You know what? I'm going to do another show about it because I did a live about it once and I pulled it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another live about it. The guy that's associated, see, this is my thing. For black people that say they ready to fight. For black people that say, yeah, they ready to fight, it's time to go down. The guy, well, he just stepped down. The leader of the Heritage Foundation, Trump, biggest supporters, who said, if Trump lose, it's time for a civil war. The senator from North Carolina, if Trump lose, there will be bloodshed. The governor of West Virginia, if Trump lose, they're going to get unhinged. Seem like out of all the men that's in the chat and the one that's been on the panel, there's only one that's ready to fight. Because I say the hell with Trump, and I hope he loses. Because they said, that's the thing about it. Black people have been going through voter intimidation for all these years. They used to come to the poll with guns, come to the poll with police. They did everything to intimidate black people from voting. So now what they're doing, they're sending out threats. It's going to be a revolution. There will be bloodshed. They're going to get unhinged if he loses. So that's voter intimidation. So for me, the one man who's going to sit on here and say, fuck MAGA, fuck Trump, and he ain't scared. The one man that's going to say that in the chat, me, because everybody else figuring out a way to ride with the people that threatening you. The same folks, since we going back in time, I'm going to go back in time. The same folks that did it to our ancestors. Now y'all scared to say, you know what? It's time to take a stand and stand up against them. Y'all don't want to say that. Y'all got to say, figure out a way for it to be Trump. So when I say where the black men at, I'm gonna say it's me. Because everybody else want them to win. Everybody else want them to win. Everybody else that been up here tonight want them to win. But it's okay. In 2024, black people still got to go through voter intimidation. Black people still going through voter intimidation in 2024. They ain't pulling up to the poll. They ain't sending the police. They ain't got the gun. If you go vote, we gonna do this to your family. They sending out the threats online. Have y'all heard the threats? Because everything else I say, people say they ain't heard him and they ain't read them. They ain't done none of that. Have y'all heard the threats? Have you all heard the threats? Can anybody answer the question? Oh, they don't want to answer that question right there. See, they can't intimidate me. And I want him to lose. I haven't been drinking at all, but one. I can't remember the last time I had a drink. Yes, it was. The last time I had a drink was the last time I had one. Huh? They don't want to talk about that part. Because the other black folk, oh, them Christians, they just marching, they just talking about voting for Kamala. Oh, she part of a sorority. All them sorrows just talking about vote for her because she, AKA, oh, people looking at her because she went to HBCU. I asked that question. Have y'all heard those intimidation tactics? Have y'all heard them? William Bell say he heard it. Grandma say she heard it. Grandma say she ain't intimidated. I damn sure ain't. But have y'all heard those intimidation tactics? Oh, I know what. That don't mean nothing either. It don't matter. With everything black folks done went through in this country dealing with these folks, none of that mean nothing either. None of it. Nothing they say or do mean nothing. He ain't got to denounce the KKK. It's okay for them to try to intimidate you on social media. It's okay for them to do all of that. Because every time I mention it, we going to go back to, is Kamala black? I say she blending in black and Indian. That's me. Is Kamala perfect? Nope. Is Kamala good? I don't know. I say she better than Trump. I say she did mention what she want to do for black women. And I'm smart enough to know when we say protecting our children and don't want them KKKs to do nothing to her. Oh, you ain't heard the threats that they've been sending out if Trump lose, Melanated Goddess? You haven't heard those threats? About if Trump lose, how the senators of North Carolina say if Trump lose, there will be bloodshed. How the governor of West Virginia say if Trump lose, they gonna get completely unhinged. How the leader of the Heritage Foundation, the authors of 2025 said if Trump lose, there's gonna be a civil war. You ain't heard that. You ain't heard those intimidation tactics. But it seemed like we enjoy being intimidated. It seems like we're proud to say we are Trump's African American. Now, if we want to go in on Kamala, I can talk about her negative too. See, I'm both sides, but tonight I was one side to prove a point. Even Grandma say I ain't being fair. Yes, I am. I'm being fair because when I started it, what I said. Huh? When I started off, and the questions I had, and the question that I had, see, I knew that would get you melanated, but you don't want to talk about them intimidation tactics, though. I'm going to let y'all hear one last time before I go. Let me see if y'all can hear him one last time. Because I don't want nobody to think I'm just making stuff up. I really don't want nobody to think I'm making stuff up, because I'm not. I promise you I'm not.
Before she was the most liberal U.S. senator, Kamala Harris was the liberal San Francisco prosecutor, the most progressive in all of California. She let an MS-13 gang member go, who then...
If you said I wouldn't fare, I wouldn't fare. If you said.
Fight! 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 We got time. Come on. Hey, we are in the fight for the soul of our nation. We are in a fight for our kids and our grandkids, a fight that we can never imagine. I believe wholeheartedly Donald Trump and Butler County's J.D. Vance are the last chance to save our country politically. I'm afraid if we lose this one, it's going to take a civil war to save the country, and it will be saved. It's the greatest experiment in the history of mankind. And if we come down to a civil war, I'm glad we got people like Schmitty and the Bikers for Trump on our side.
Something that knowingly I've told them it's not the truth. Now, as the world watches, you didn't really expect that, did you? But with that being said, let me just say just this. She makes us smile, and she loves everybody. And how could the message possibly be any more simpler than just that? Now, I've got to tell you just this. The foundation of my life is the truth. I've got to tell you just this and tell you this right now. I challenge the media all the time to find something that knowingly I've told them it's not the truth, and they can't do it because I'm not going to do that. Now, I want you to listen to this and pay really close attention. The bottom line to why we're here, the bottom line to every single thing that's going on in this great country today is one thing. We become totally unhinged if Donald Trump is not elected in November.
There's a lot of voter intimidation going on. But I understand, I do understand.
Today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today is the day I hope you will donate to support our movement, because the truth is, time is...
I'm afraid if we lose this one, it's going to take a civil war to save the country, and it will be saved. It's the greatest experiment in the history of mankind. And if we come down to a civil war, I'm glad we got people like Schmitty and the Bikers for Trump on our side.
This is Ohio State Senator George Lang calling for a civil war if Trump loses the election.
This may be our last election.
And numerous politicians on the right have signaled they won't accept the election results if Trump doesn't win.
Yes or no? Will you accept the election results?
A civil war.
We become totally unhinged if Donald Trump is not elected in November.
We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
I don't want a civil war. I don't want to have to draw my rifle. I want to make this problem go away with my legislative means of doing so.
Harris campaign spokesperson Amar Musa responded to Senator Lang.
Oh, you think I'm in my feelings about Trump's statement? No. But I don't want that type of people, right? Because you live in this country. And he's gonna be there, he would be your president. The ones who can't accept, like, damn, maybe I should look at the other side. Because they doing voter intimidation again. They doing voter intimidation again. They can't intimidate me. Now, I ain't gonna tell nobody who to vote for. I done did that enough when I was little, when I was growing up, registering people to vote, out here working on political campaigns since I was 8, 9 years old, meeting people. But if you want to talk about gambling, you can't hold your damn money. I'm a firm believer. I know we gonna have to do for self, but I'm gonna say this again before I go. If someone speak on what they gonna do for my woman, someone speak on what happened to black women in the hospital constantly losing those babies, I'm gonna do something about that. If someone speak on black people make 61 cents on the dollar while everybody else make 81 cents on the dollar, and they want to do something about it. So then we can say, which one can be you? The one that's going to speak on me like that, or the one that's going to say, look at my African American, the black. I hope everybody in here got a black job. If you got a job, I hope it's a black one. Whatever a black job is, we accept disrespect. We accept disrespect so easy. And the only people we want to fight about it is other black folk. See, I don't give a damn about them folk. I did this live and said the things I said for a reason. And I said that reason. I don't care about them folk. I'm a race person. I know who my allies are. They look like me. Not all of them. Candace Owens. I have no idea, Bawana, who that guy's hired, but I know how he did when they were trying to live in his apartment. But we're okay with this. You from black people, it's okay with being disrespected by that side. Now, we're not okay with the disrespect. Shouldn't be okay with it from either side. The Democrats have absolutely failed black people in the last 30. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But the one I think I could use first. No, this is not Rachel Dolezal. Rachel Dolezal was a 100% white woman that has sued an HBCU for racial discrimination. I don't even know why y'all do that. I don't even know why y'all do that and say, it's Rachel Dolezal all again. She actually sued the school. She was going for racial discrimination. Then decided to say it's not Rachel Dolezal all over again. It is not. It is not Rachel Dolezal all over again. It's not nowhere near Rachel Dolezal all over again. Unless y'all can show me the HBCU, the black college that Kamala sued for racial discrimination. It is not. But I'm going to get off here. I thank everybody for coming through, man. This was a wonderful conversation. It was a great conversation. No, it is not. No. So, see, this is the thing. We going to ignore. See, like I said, I don't know what nobody else read, but I'm going to find it again, and I'm going to have to do it again. Well, folks say her daddy was Afro-Jamaican. Yeah, the pandering in the line. That's what politicians do. I don't trust a politician. I do not trust a politician. All of them pander because they want your vote. All of them gonna lie because they want your vote. But one of these panderers and liars talked about what they gonna do for black women and how they gonna say the life of black babies. That's why I say certain things are ignored. Certain things are ignored. Okay, her father is not fully black. But the other guy you willing to vote for, he support the KKK. See how it works? I do know what you're talking about, melanated. I told everybody when I started that I was going to completely be on the other side. I did the video for a reason. So I'm not pretending. Kamala wants to abort black babies. How? But okay, I'm not gonna argue that point either. Look, the difference between me and y'all, I ain't ignoring nothing Kamala has done. I just brought us some points for some folks that lie. That's it. I ain't ignoring nothing. The ones who's ignoring is the ones who's completely to the other side. We can ignore everything they say. Kamala dad is not full black. I got you. He's not full black. Good. That's what I'm gonna ride with right now. He's not full black. He's not full black. So that's okay with me. If Donald Trump supporting the KKK is okay with you, Kamala's daddy not being full black is okay to me. You see how that works? So her not being full black is okay. Her daddy not being full black is okay. Because Donald Trump supporting the KKK, saying he'll give Sonya Massey murderer, refusing to say he would not give him full immunity is okay with y'all. Her daddy not being full black is okay with me. See how that works? Okay, did y'all hear what he's using? Do you want to hear when he was talking about it? It was good people on both sides when the neo-Nazi and them KKKs was marching with the ticket torches in Charlottesville, Virginia. Man, we really do have short memory when it comes to the other side. It's okay, Bwana. If Donald Trump supporting the KKK, refusing to denounce the KKK, refusing to say he would not, he's refusing to say that it's possible that Sonya Massey murderer can get full immunity. If that's okay with y'all, her husband being a white Jew is okay too. See, because y'all done found white stuff that's okay with y'all. So I'm going to find me some white stuff that's okay with me, I guess. So that is okay, because y'all done found something that's okay with y'all. Y'all done found it. So I'm finding me something. I'm glad you brought that up, Bwana. So I done found something that, yeah, I'm okay with that too. You got another question? Melanated say, does he support KKK or has not denounced them? Which one is it? If he don't, yes, support. If you don't denounce it, you support it. See how I'm gonna answer that? He wouldn't denounce it. He was raised KKK. He refused to denounce David Duke. Every other Republican have, but he won't. Every other Republican have denounced David Duke except him. He's the only one that won't denounce. I don't know. Look, he did so much bad stuff when he was president. What the other white dude named? John McCain. On his deathbed, the last thing he wrote in his will, Donald Trump is not allowed to come to my funeral. So where did he say that, Bwana? Because when they marched in Charlottesville, Virginia, he said they were good people. Now, see, I can pull up the videos I'm talking about. You can't pull up yours. Oh, there's good people on both sides. That's what he said it. I didn't. There's good people on both sides. He said it. I didn't. Yeah, that's why Trump won't denounce him. That's why Trump won't denounce him. But we more concerned about it. And it's okay. Like I said, I'm completely on one side tonight. So I ain't talking about the other side. When did he say that, Bwana? Show me the video. You got to show me a video. Send it to me so I can play it. And Guy got to show me the video. Send it to me and I'll play it. And I'll say I was wrong. Like I said, send it to me. Because I know what he said when they marched in Charlottesville, Virginia, that there's good people on both sides. Do you want to hear that? There's good people on both sides. But I'm going to get off here. Peace and love. Thank y'all for coming through. This was an excellent conversation. Remember, be black, buy black, think black, love black. Everything else will take care of itself. Peace, one love. I dare you to go listen to the one where he talked about that people marching in Charlottesville, Virginia were good people. I dare you to do that. I dare you. Yeah, I'm running for one.